You may never go back.
Air Comfort Service heating and cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Strong gusty winds continue this afternoon. Winds from the northwest. Some of the gusts 40 to 45. Still some showers around. A couple of strong thunderstorms here and there. Temperatures now falling through the 60s. It's colder tonight. Gusty winds, some showers. 40 degrees, a wet snowflake towards morning. Thursday, windy and chilly to be out and about. 49, but it feels colder. Down to 32 with a light freeze Thursday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's happening right here, right now.
Direct link here we're seeing in these numbers between what you're talking about with the economy and Joe Biden standing in the polls and his party's standing in the polls.
After my predecessor's fiscal mismanagement, we're reducing the Trump deficits and returning our fiscal house to order.
There's nothing that has caused political ruin more than inflation.
Right here, right now. 97.1 FM Talk.
Yachty and Waino are back for another season in their legendary careers. On Saturday, April 9th, celebrate their long-standing battery with one of 4 mystery jerseys. That day, the Cardinals host the Pirates, and 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a mystery jersey featuring either Yadier Molina or Adam Wainwright, courtesy of Coca-Cola and Walmart. Which one will you get? Find out on Saturday, April 9th. For tickets, visit Cardinals.com.
2021 marked the 50th and final season of Mike Shannon's legendary career in the broadcast booth. Sunday, April 10th, when the Cardinals host the Pirates, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a one-of-a-kind Mike Shannon bobblehead. Kick off the 2022 season and honor the longtime voice of the Cardinals with this commemorative bobblehead thanks to Phillips 66. That's Sunday, April 10th, the Cardinals, the Pirates, and the Shannon bobblehead. Get your tickets at Cardinals.com.
Looking to sell your house without all the hassle and pricey repair costs? Great, because Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis loves buying fix-up homes in any condition, as is, no fees and no commissions. Call 314-782-8000, and Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis will give you a cash offer right now. No strings attached. We buy inherited houses, divorce houses, trashed houses, even those my tenant won't pay rent houses. Call Chris at 314-782-8000 and find out how easy it is to work with us. That's 314-782-8000. Do you think your home will be difficult to sell? Easy. Our team will provide you with personal guidance through our short and simple process to turn your house into a pile of gold. Just call Chris at 314-782-8000. 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And let Chris worry about everything.
There's a campfire smell coming from your fireplace and pieces of brick in your yard. Who can I trust? English Sweep Certified Sweeps and Master Masons will solve all your chimney needs. Protect your investment. Get back to the important things in your life. Go to EnglishSweep.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Need to spring back into hiring season? You need Indeed, the smart hiring platform that delivers 4 times more hires than all other sites combined. According to Talent Nest, post a job and hire ASAP. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Marc Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Search for Alterna 90s on the Odyssey app and listen to great songs. And some you've probably forgotten about. Alterna 90s on the Odyssey app. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, River Views, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from about me. I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, it's a rainy, wet Wednesday here in St. Louis, but we are glad that you're spending some time with us. I almost did not make it in to the show here on time. Got caught behind a really, really nasty accident on the Stan Musial Bridge. So if you were looking to go either way on the Stan span right now, it's pretty blocked up. And anytime, you get behind an accident like that and it's holding you up and you got somewhere to be, it's important for me to remind myself that there are people who need prayers right now. And I would ask you to join me in that because it was a pretty nasty accident. I did make it here on time and I'm glad because I have to talk about it, right? You listen, I know about what's going on with Disney. You can feel free to send me this stuff. I appreciate the communication and the interaction. But I have been absolutely inundated with people who are like, have you seen this about Disney? It's pretty hard to avoid. Now, in that respect, I'm going to say, good, high five, everybody. Make it impossible for the massive corporation that is Disney to avoid how absolutely ridiculous their latest endeavor, which has in some capacity been outed for the world to see, and talk about it. Be out with it. Here's Disney Diversity and Inclusion Manager Vivian Ware.
Last summer, we removed all of the gendered greetings in relationship to our live spiels. So we no longer say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We've provided training for all of our cast members in relationship to that. So now they know it's hello everyone or hello friends. We are in the process of changing over those recorded messages. And so many of you are probably familiar when we brought the fireworks back to the Magic Kingdom. We no longer say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We say dreamers of all ages. And so I love the fact that it's opened up the creativity, the opportunity for our cast members to look at that.
So that's not new information. That happened last fall. And it was a story then. It was covered then. That's not new information, but it is probably new information, like to non-Disney people, that this is the avenue that they're taking in their parks. The beginning of their fireworks show that used to be called Happily Ever After, they would say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And then they go into their whole, Disney thing, Mickey Mouse thing. Thank you for being here and spending all your money thing. They changed their fireworks show to a different one to celebrate at Walt Disney World to celebrate the 50th anniversary. And this is a strong opinion that I've had for a long time that had absolutely no relevance here. But since I'm dunking on Disney today, their new fireworks show sucks compared to the old one. And I would hope that they would come to grips on this, but way down the line after the fact that they need to understand how ridiculously placed their mindset is right now and how ignorant they are to the majority of the people who they serve, the consumers of their product, at least currently the consumers. I don't know if they're going to continue. Here's more from Vivian Ware.
We have our cast members working with merchandise, working with food and beverage, working with all of our guest facing areas where perhaps, we want to create that magical moment with our cast members, with our guests. And we don't want to just assume because someone might be in our interpretation, maybe presenting as female, that they may not want to be called princess. So let's think differently about how do we really engage with our guests in a meaningful and inclusive way that makes it magical and memorable for everyone.
You know what? When you go into the freaking Galaxy's Edge in the Star Wars land in Hollywood Studios, they don't say good morning. They say bright suns. Well, I'm offended by that because I'm an Earthling. And yeah, I'm in Batuu. That's their land that they call the Star Wars thing. And yeah, the Star Wars stuff is pretty awesome. And I don't give two craps about Star Wars anything. I don't know the characters. I know that you probably think that most of the movie sucks and the old ones, the original ones, are the only good ones. But they're appropriating over there. Why do they get to do that? And in Magic Kingdom, when they see my little daughter dressed up as freaking Ariel, you're not going to say, hello, princess, because maybe she doesn't want to be called that. What the hell are we doing? We've lost our minds. I'm going to read Vicky's point from YouTube because it's exactly the point that I wanted to make here, but I'm going to give Vicky the credit for saying it. Change it to whatever you want. No need to explain why you're doing it except to virtue signal. They are not trying to be more inclusive. They're trying to get credit for being more inclusive. It's not about the good deed. You guys know the Friends episode where Phoebe is trying to do a good deed and she can't come to the place where she feels like she's doing a real good deed because every good deed that she tries to do somehow or another makes her feel better about herself. These people never feel better about themselves because it's social credit and they spend it, and they are about to spend it all on this. And it's terrible. It's disgusting. You know why? Because if I take my family to Disney World, and it's not just about Disney World, folks, don't just get all wrapped up in the idea that this is just about the parks. This is about their agenda focusing on like less than 1% of society for the sake of, again, it's not about doing what's right. It's not about doing what is good. It's about getting credit for it. That's why it's disgusting and gross. And that's why you know it and I know it. For the times that I've been to Disney World, or the times I grew up not going to Disney World, we went one time when I was about 6 or 7 years old. It never once occurred to me in my childhood to think about the sexuality of any of the people who were in the park, any of the people who were in the movies. It didn't occur to me. You know why? Because I was a freaking kid. Kids don't think about this stuff until you start putting it in front of them on a regular basis. And if that is your goal, that's creepy. Children, small children. I speak as a mother of a kindergartner. She doesn't need to know anything about sexuality. I'd put at the top of that list heterosexuality. It's not about what kind of sexuality. It's just about sexuality. That's what we don't want as parents, other people choosing when to put this in front of our kids, because it's my job. I'm the mom. My husband is the father. We get to make these decisions for our kids. And if you want to put yourself in between where we stand and where our children stand to educate them on something, guess what? We're going to cut out that middleman. You're going to be toast. There is this persistent disease that has infected the entire country, and it's about victimhood. And the people who are shown to the world to be victims, they're being shown to be victims by people who are in elite places of power. People who have access to microphones like I do, or cameras like the people who you watch on television, or podcasts, or websites, or blogs, or articles. There are people who are drawn to these places because they need a platform. And they build their relevance out of finding somebody who they feel doesn't have a voice. That's noble. There's nothing wrong with that. But if the goal is to achieve some sort of betterment for the marginalized class, or the class that doesn't have the voice to speak, if they are truly successful, then their position in power, poof, dissolves. It goes away. The only way that these narcissists get to stay in a place where they continue to push their own importance, their savior complex, over all of the marginalized people, is to make sure that the victims never achieve non-victim status. They spend it like it's a credit card. And Disney is going into irrecoverable debt with the very people who helped Walt Disney build that House of Mouse in Disneyland first, and in Disney World in Orlando, and now a global community. You want a virtue signal to me? Let's do that, Disney. Let's go to China. Let's see what you're willing to participate in or to allow to take place in China, where you make your movies that you sell to the world and now inject in sexual things to make sure that kids have access to these things. It's your priority. You're the ones who have said it. These are your words. If you think that this is going to go well for you, you are sorely mistaken. This doesn't help any community. Do you know that if you're somebody who lives a traditional life or has traditional values, that in no way means that you hate anybody? Do I have to say that out loud? Because if I do, I'll say it every day. A lifestyle choice that I might have or that your neighbor might have that is not the same as yours does not indicate that they hate you. Somebody out there wants to make sure that you know that that is the way society goes. And that's because they make money off of it. I cannot possibly react to this situation better than Tammy Bruce, who is a friend of the show, a guest of the show, who she was on Outnumbered before. And I was like pumping my fist in the air in the car when I was listening to her react to what Disney is doing. And I want you to hear it.
This is outrageous. Now, many in the audience may not know, and I say it only and reference it when it's relevant, but I'm a gay woman. And that is something that is relevant in some of our politics, as is clear right now. Everything you heard there is outrageous. It is untrue. It is a reflection of what I term, and others do as well, malignant narcissism, which is this effort to make everything that's in the world about you. Well, here's a newsflash for the leftism, right? This has nothing to do, by the way, with homosexuality or gays and lesbians. We've fought for years to have Americans know that we are not after their children, because we're not. And yet here you have this dynamic that sets into motion this idea that children are the focus. Now, clearly for some, it is a marginal extremist framework on the left. It has nothing to do with gay civil rights. And if you are a parent and a family or just a regular person who's outraged, you are not a homophobe. As a matter of fact, American lives, the lives of gay Americans are fabulous because of the American sensibility, because we are Americans first. And this kind of argument, this kind of thing moved out under the guise of gay rights or trans rights is the homophobia, because it places us in a context that we are sexualizing children, that we want children to be sexualized. And here's another newsflash. There are no gay or straight children, and that's going to cause a controversy. But there are just simply children. Gender is a concept that children don't even understand or can comprehend. They certainly are not thinking sexually. This is the narcissism of projecting our adult issues onto kids. Now, that's happening sometimes in general, and that has to stop. But for a corporation like Disney, which we have entrusted our families and our children to when it comes to American culture, it is outrageous. It is only a few people, and others in charge have been made afraid and terrified at what that marginalized extremist group will do. It has nothing to do with tolerance or gay rights, and it has everything to do with molding children within the view of these marginalized extremists. And I'm telling you, I know lots of gay people. I know plenty of transgender people. No one likes what's going on here. No one in this country, no one on the left or the right. This is not normal, and it's unacceptable. And everyone should reject it for the sake not only of your children, but also for the civil rights gains that gays and lesbians have made in this country.
Tammy Bruce on Outnumbered just today. And, you know, when she leads into that and says, I only say this when it's absolutely necessary, because it isn't the be all end all of who she is, but she is a gay woman. And those words coming from her mouth are words that I hope get spread far and wide. Well done, Tammy Bruce. Thank you for saying that. And I look forward to getting her on the show to talk about this, because I don't think this is going away soon. Everybody wants to know how I thought about this, and I've been inundated with tweets, DMs, Facebook messages, texts from people asking me about my thoughts. That's my thought. Woke Disney sucks. And if enough consumers on the other side make the wheel as squeaky as they possibly can, maybe something will change. If it doesn't, you know what to do. Let's take a quick break. Joe Concha is going to join us when we come back. We're going to ask him a little bit about this from a media standpoint. What kind of risk is Disney taking? Are they too big to fail? Because listen, folks, they own basically everything. Joe Concha, when we come back, Deroy, Murdock, and Marc Cox in the 1 o'clock hour. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Everybody come hang. Let's go out with some bang.
Marc Cox here. My 2022 school board election voters guide is now available. Listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show Monday through Friday, 5 to 9 a.m. to hear candidate interviews leading up to Tuesday's election. My voters guide and past interviews are available now at 971talk.com.
That voters guide that Mark is talking about there is what we're going to discuss with him at 125 and get you connected with that, who he's talked to and what his recommendations are. My recommendation for you for flooring, that's Michael's Flooring Outlet. Of course, if you are shopping for flooring, you want to make sure that your dollar is going to go as far as it can, but you also want to make sure that you're investing in quality. So if you are looking for some type of flooring for your home, maybe it's your whole home, maybe you're just redoing the upstairs carpet. I'm just speaking for what I would like to be doing soon. Michael's Flooring Outlet is the place to go. They spend time in making sure that they have the best products to offer you at the best prices with the absolute best in a customer sales staff that's going to be knowledgeable and help you plug in your needs with what they can provide you. If you go to their website, you're going to be able to see their stock, their in-stock inventory, which I think is very important right now. You don't want to get yourself falling in love with something that's not going to be there for 9, 10, 12 months. I mean, we've all experienced that at some point or another with different purchases. Michael's Flooring Outlet is going to connect you with exactly what you need, like I said, at the best price. You can find them at 3 of their locations online. You can find them at igotfloored.com.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming. At Heisey Advisory Group, we help to make the process simple. Join us Thursday, April 14th or Tuesday, April 19th at 6 p.m. at the Lodge de Pere for a 90-minute complimentary workshop that addresses difficult retirement decisions, such as tax planning and Social Security optimization. This event is for those approaching retirement or already retired. We will share with you the principles of sound tax and retirement income planning with emphasis on the new tax code changes. Your success in retirement is impacted by the decisions you make. Call today to register for this complimentary workshop and let us help you better understand the core questions most retirees face when planning for retirement. Call 314-328-6000. Again, 314-328-6000. And register to help ensure your success in retirement.
Firm offers insurance services but may not give tax or legal advice, nor are they affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
When Richard Irvin decided to take on Pritzker for governor, he wasn't following a whim. He was answering a long familiar call to duty. Irvin joined the Army out of high school, served in Desert Storm, decorated for bravery. Surviving a brush with death in a dangerous war zone, Richard dedicated his life to service because he loves his country and knows how fragile freedom and security are. As a prosecutor, Irvin put thugs behind bars, drug dealers, gangbangers, 1,000 convictions, hired more cops and cleaned up crime as mayor, balanced budgets, passed property tax relief. When riotous looters came to town, Irvin shut them down. He knows we'll lose the country he fought for if the radical woke mob takes control. Irvin says all lives matter, that schools shouldn't teach kids to be ashamed of their color or country, that we'll take our state back if we have strong, service-minded leadership. And that's Richard Irvin, our next governor, paid for by Irvin for Illinois.
Real estate prices are through the roof, right? Home buyers are paying way over asking price. You're tempted to sell, but you're not 100% sure you're ready to move. In a perfect world, you could sell your home for full value, bank the cash, and continue living there as long as you like. Well, I found your perfect world at Truehold.com. This is life-changing. Truehold will pay you 100% of your home's value, 100% in cash right now. And here's the best part. You don't have to move unless you want to. You can stay in your home as long as you'd like. Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance too. Let's review. Truehold pays you 100% of your home's value in cash within 30 days. Use your cash to do anything and everything you've dreamed of doing. Travel, pay off debt, or buy that new right-size home on the golf course. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com and discover the smarter, faster alternative to cashing out your home's full value without having to move. That's 855-300-9993 or go to Truehold.com.
My house in Budapest, my hidden treasure chest, golden grand piano, my beauty focus EOU. Ooh, you, ooh, I'd leave it all.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
My acres
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
It may be hard for you to stop and believe, but for you, ooh, you, Ooh, I divido. Ooh, for you. Ooh, you. Ooh, I divido. Give me one good reason why I should never
For Disney
make
to come out and put a
change.
statement and say that the bill should have never passed and that they are going to actively work to repeal it, I think one was fundamentally dishonest, but two, I think that crossed the line. This state is governed by the interests of the people of the state of Florida. It is not based on the demands of California corporate executives. They do not run this state. They do not control this state.
The thing about the whole Disney thing that just really, really gets under my skin, of course, as you know, if you're new to the show, then newsflash, I like Disney World. My family, it's our vacation spot. I'm vested. I purchased the timeshare there with my husband. This is the place where we've committed ourselves to go for vacations. This type of stuff comes down the pike. And if you're somebody who has invested in Disney before and you see what they're doing right now, I mean, I'm getting a lot of advice from folks, and I appreciate that. I'm very grateful for all of your thoughts and opinions on the matter. But if you've listened to the show for any amount of time, you probably know that I am not okay with what's going on there. And it seems to me like the absolute fringe on the left, which is a super teeny tiny amount of people who have made so much noise at Disney to push them in a direction that reflects nothing of what the majority of their consumer base actually stands for, which would include me. Why the hell aren't we making so much noise on our side? Why is the advice always just take your ball and go home and boycott? Don't spend another dollar there. I mean, maybe do that, but make a heck of a lot of noise on the way out. Otherwise, nothing's going to ever change, especially if you look at how whack what Disney has said that they're doing is. It really is. Our friend Joe Concha back on the show with us, Fox News contributor, also political columnist at The Hill. Joe, Disney is a wreck. I have 4 kids. It gets a lot of airtime in my house, and people like me who aren't in the teeny tiny minority of squeaky wheels that Disney has been listening to are a little bit besides themselves today.
I have a feeling, Annie, that they're going to start listening when attendance at their parks are down, when ratings on their channels are down, when people start canceling their subscriptions to Disney Plus, right? I'm like you. I have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. I've been to Disney, 3 times now with them. It's a magical experience for them. But now when you start hearing that they're not going to say boys and girls at the park anymore, that they're going to say dreamers, and the fact that they are buying into this, I mean, it's one of the most dishonest moments and it's a lot of them, believe me, for our media in some time, where you had Democratic activists and lawmakers labeling Ron DeSantis's bill down in Florida as "don't say gay" when the word gay doesn't appear in the bill once. And the crux of it is that we don't want to teach our kindergartners, and I have a kindergartner up to 2nd grade, and I have a 2nd grader, anything about sex or sexual orientation. You go on the street right now and you take away DeSantis's name or Disney or "don't say gay." You just ask regular people, Democrats, Republicans, doesn't matter. Should kids that age be taught this sort of crap? And I would imagine 97% would say, no, of course not at that age. And yet here we are. We've allowed this narrative to get hijacked by this, everybody calling it a "don't say gay" bill when it's not that at all. And yet here we are in Disney buying into it. It's only going to hurt them in the end, Nanny.
Yeah, it doesn't say gay bill. And the thing that really irks me the most is this, to me, looks like the political machine on the left doing what they do best, creating controversy where it doesn't exist. I think this doesn't, I said this earlier in my show, this isn't about helping people who are marginalized. To me, this is a movement that was centered around what the left views as their biggest opponent right now, an enemy in Ron DeSantis. They are laying a foundation against the guy who will likely be the president of the United States 2024, 2028, not sure when, but they know that he is a massive force to be reckoned with. And they're fabricating this thing. And Disney, I mean, I've got my own issues with Disney's leadership right now to begin with, but they're listening to such a small group of people and making a whole lot of hay out of this. I just don't really think, like you said, when people start reacting, that this is going to work the way they expected it to.
And it ain't working, because even if you look in Florida, where this has gotten overwhelming coverage, you see that a majority of Floridians support what DeSantis is doing here, right? And then you see that DeSantis, he has a governor's race this year, is running for re-election, and he is up double digits on either of his Democratic opponents, on Charlie Crist or Nikki Fried. So despite all these overwhelming attacks, and not just with this bill, but basically everything Ron DeSantis does, and yet he is a very popular governor in that state. And as you said, particularly if Donald Trump doesn't run, he's easily the nominee for the Republican Party in 2024. And you got to like the guy. I mean, he stands on his principles. He is unapologetic. I saw a reporter like a week ago say, sir, about this Don't Say Gay bill. And he says, why are you calling it that? Where does it say gay? You show me where it is. Did you read the bill? He pushes right back. And he doesn't do it in a personal way where he calls the guy a jerk or anything. He just challenges him on the facts. Like, okay, show me where it says gay in the bill. So I think that, if you like Donald Trump and Donald Trump doesn't run, you get a lot of Trumpian things with DeSantis, perhaps without some of the baggage that would come along with the former president. And he would be a very formidable opponent for whoever's on the Democratic side. And who's that going to be, right? It probably won't be Joe Biden. It can't be Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
I mean, the bench, who was available? Andrew Cuomo? Whoops. I mean, it's going to be ugly for Democrats in 2024 because I just don't see who they run at this point. When you start hearing Michelle Obama's name floated around,
it's the name I always
have.
Yep, that's the name I always have in my head. And I think Ron DeSantis is quite the formidable opponent, no matter who he's up against, because he actually stands for something. I mean, let's talk about DeSantis for a minute and the way he's handled this particular situation. I think that Disney tried to flex on DeSantis and try to use their influence. And I, for folks who followed this closely the whole way, which I did, Disney didn't go head first into this until there was an outcry from the LGBTQ community within Disney. So they didn't do it because it was their moral obligation to do so. They had a group of people in their company who made a lot of noise, and then they reacted to that and went in. And that's a lot of what Disney employees are really frustrated about, is that they don't believe that Disney acted soon enough, strong enough. But Ron DeSantis punched right back at this and was like, whoa, stop sign Disney. You don't get to come in here and throw your weight around. So here you have a Republican governor standing by the people in the face of some of the biggest corporations. You'd think that would be a big story in and of itself, but of course is not.
No, it's not. But that's what you have to do in these situations. I think when you try to placate the media, like, Mitt Romney did in 2012, like, hey, if I'm nice, they'll like me. John McCain, 2008, same thing. Even George W. Bush, all didn't punch back. And I think you do have to, when you think you're in the right and you have the winning argument, and DeSantis does have here, and he really has become, a cultural warrior down there, right? Not just in this regard, but obviously he opened businesses up well before anybody else did. Early on in COVID turned out to be right. Like, remember he opened beaches and then that guy dressed as like the Grim Reaper showed up saying everybody's going to die if you're outside at a
How'd that
beach.
go?
How silly does all of that look now, right?
About as silly as it did at the time, honestly, but maybe for more people than just you and me. Yeah,
exactly. I like that he approved an immigration measure that doesn't allow state entities to do business with businesses and companies that transport migrant children who cross the border illegally into Florida. Okay, you're going to help out with that? Middle of the night flights into my state, not going to happen here, right? And I love the fact that he signed that proclamation declaring Emma Wyatt the true winner of the national collegiate swimming title when she lost to a transgender athlete that was like 3 times her size. So good. I like all these positions that he's taking. In Florida, anybody who lives there will say they love it, particularly my friends from New York who moved down there. Like, we're never coming back.
Yeah, there's certain. I mean, I live across the river in the state of Illinois, and a lot of them have fled to Florida as well. Joe, last question before we let you go. We're speaking with Joe Concha right now. This is, to me, it politically puts me on the edge of my seat, because when we were not worried about wars in Eastern Europe and Joe Biden's ability to do anything, we were in COVID land and we were in mandate land and mask wearing and vax. And to me, the difference between the two political parties was basically a question of freedom. Do you want to run your own life, or do you want to turn it over to the government? And I thought politically that was just a spike in the end zone touchdown for Republicans, because they stood for liberty. Culture wars have come back in full-fledged since the mandates have gone away. Do you think that this is going to level the playing field a little bit from Republicans on that liberty issue, or do you think Republicans get to double down here?
Oh, they get to double down here because they have the winning hand because of everything else that's going on. Inflation and gas prices, that will overwhelmingly be two big topics during the midterms, right? And you can't undo those things. They're very sticky. Ask Jimmy Carter, right? It could take down a presidency, it could take down a party. But then education, what we see our kids being taught, like we just talked about, that's a huge deal. People see what's going on at the border, that's a huge deal. They see the world in terms of Afghanistan and Ukraine, and North Korea is launching missiles again and doing tests. They see a very unstable world. So the overall feeling is that things are going badly right now. And the winning argument appears to be on the Republican side as far as a lot of these culture stuff, because again, it's not like it's, moderate Democrats versus moderate Republicans doing a debate. This is the far, far left trying to push stuff that simply ain't going to fly. And it's why, like defunding the police, boy, that died in a hurry, right? Suddenly no one's talking about that anymore. So yeah, if you want to make it a culture war kind of midterm, go right ahead, roll the dice and take your chances, because as we saw in Virginia with Glenn Youngkin, people are just fed up at this point. And I think the turning point was, and then I know you got to let me go. Back in like May and June of 2020, when we were told to lock down, and everybody did, for the most part, they said, okay, we don't know what this virus is. We'll follow the rules. And when politicians came out and said, it's okay, though, if you come out this weekend and protest en masse with thousands of people around because the cause is bigger than the virus. The minute they said you're allowed to take a break because of this, because it advances the political agenda, that's when you knew this was all BS.
Yeah. Joe, real quick before we let you go, I know you're a sports guy. Who's your baseball team?
Cubbies.
You're okay. So we're here in St. Louis. We're gonna be okay with that. Just curious about your thoughts about Albert Pujols coming back to St. Louis.
Well, I'll say this, that St. Louis, and I say this as somebody who lives, 10 minutes from Yankee Stadium, basically here in Jersey, you guys have the best fans in the country. I mean, by far. When I've seen the Cubs play at the old Busch Stadium, for example. I couldn't believe just the sea of red and just how great everybody supports your team. And you're always good. The Cards never have a bad season.
Don't say that to Cardinals fans. They're going to be like, oh, you remember the summer of 1999? And then they just go off. But thank you. That's very.
Oh, that's right. No, I remember 85 and no one talks about 85 because 86 overshadowed with the Mets and the Red Sox. But boy, you got screwed. I mean, the guy was out on the Royals by like 2 steps. It wasn't even close.
Man,
there's no replay. They come back in Game 6. They blow you out in Game 7. And no one ever talks about how the Cardinals are the most screwed team in one season over that call than any other. And that's all I have to say about
Joe Concha, St. Louis's favorite Cubs fan. There you have it right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I speak for the whole city. We appreciate you coming on here. We look forward to having you again.
That sounds good. Bye-bye.
Right, bye-bye. Fox News contributor, also political columnist at The Hill. And he used to work for NBC Sports, so he is a sports guy. I did not know when I asked him that he was a Cubs fan. I feel like I was thinking he was going to be like a Mets guy or something. So interesting.
Well, I mean, he lives 10 minutes away from Yankee Stadium, so you thought maybe even the Yankees, but
yeah, but a lot of those people who live there went there. So
that's true.
It is what it is. All right. I did get a question here before we go to a break from Mark, and I wanted to put it up on the live stream and answer it. Annie, are you still going to support Disney after their decision? I mean, like I said before, you tell me, folks, I'm interested. I'm asking. As somebody who has purchased, like my family has invested in a yearly commitment for decades to go vacation at Disney because it was the way that we could afford it over the length of time. And my children love it. My children have no idea that any of this is going on. They don't know any of it. You know why? Because as a parent, I watch what they see. I guard what they take in. And we don't talk about Bruno, or we also don't talk about gender identity in the context of vacations. And when we go to Disney, it's about roller coasters and Mickey bars and fireworks. That's what it is for them. That's still valuable to me. But it does still matter to me what Disney decides to do with their product. And if I have to police even more closely what my children consume when they flip on Disney Plus, which I do now because in the last 6 months to probably 9 months, they've put more things on Disney Plus that I don't feel comfortable letting my 5-year-old just pop on the show. What should I do? I'm open to the suggestion, but this is one of the things this is where my family gets to come together outside of work and school on vacation. And this is where we get to have that happiness together. And I don't know. I still love what I have had, the experiences I have had with my kids and my family, which is why I understand why other people might boycott. I understand why you might say, I'm never going to spend another dime at Disney again. I understand that, and I would never tell you not to do that. But I feel like the best use of my time right now, at least, is to make a heck of a lot of noise. For my kids, maybe for your kids, for your grandkids, because I am invested. And you would think that that would matter to a publicly traded company. Maybe it doesn't. I guess we'll see. Quick break. Mark also says, when are you running for local office? Well, at least not today. Not yet. Thank you, Mark, for the comment, also for the super chat on the YouTube channel. We are less than 100 subscribes to 3,000 YouTube subscribers. I would love it if you would come join us there. I haven't checked today, so it might be around 90. The YouTube live chat poll: who is the most unlikable after the Oscar slap? Chris Rock, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, or the Academy? Got to get your reaction on that poll today. Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel in the live chat. Vote. We'll be right back with Wiggins America.
Give me one good reason why I should never make a change.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
And all of this will go away.
The Mark Reardon Show.
My county councilman in St. Louis County is not seeking re-election. Jim Fitch, I missed the filing deadline. Could you not have done this yesterday so I could have filed?
Well, Mark, I would have had a deal with you. How about I take your position and you take mine?
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Stewart's American Mortgage, the bagel loan guy. The bagel loan is called the bagel loan because what's a bagel look like? It looks like a zero. And you're going to pay zero in fees that every other lender out there is going to charge you for when you go to refinance your home. Now, rates have gone up since I've been talking about this over the course of time. They're not as low as they used to be, which is why I've told you, time to get in, the getting's now. You might be in a position, though, where as rates go up, you have very high interest on your credit cards, and you need to get rid of that credit card debt in a smart, sensible way. Stewie and the people at Stewart's American Mortgage can help you with this in a way that quickly rectifies maybe a lot of your economic woes that you have and gives you confidence and a worry-free experience when it comes to your money. How does he do that? Well, if you've got equity in your home and you haven't tapped into it yet because the equity in your home is likely still very high, take some of that money out of your home, pay off that high-interest credit card debt, and do that refinance where you don't have to pay fees that every other lender out there is going to charge you for. And you can close in 14 days. It's crazy. Call him at 314-324-4440 or text him 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for CertaPro Painters, and I have a great way for you to improve the interior of your home or business. Hire CertaPro Painters, splash a new color on those walls. I've hired them time and time again for 12 plus years, mainly because they do a great job. They knock it out of the park. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. It's super easy to schedule a free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C for your home or business. It's the perfect time to transform your walls. CertaPro Painters, proven and trusted experts in painting.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. For spring cleaning, make your own cleaning products from baking soda and vinegar. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Back in the car and back on the road. We're with you. Dependable traffic with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
I'll be your light, your match, your burning sun. I'll be the bright and black that's making you run, and we'll feel alright, and we'll feel alright, 'cause we'll work it out, yeah, we'll work it out. Now we're doing this, if you ever doubt, till the love runs out, till the love runs out.
Reminder about that YouTube live chat poll taking place right now on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Who is the most unlikable after the Oscars slap? Chris Rock, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, or the Academy? Go vote now. And you guys are going to take over and cover this, I guess, at 2:45 today. Hannah will bring in the results, and I'm leaving the show.
Yeah, so we're Brad, me, Hannah, Trisha, basically everybody who's on the show but you
on the Annie Frey Show
are going to take over the 2:00 hour at about 2:25-ish, something like that, and then we're just going to run this thing into the ground as hard as we can.
Well, hold on. No, we're not.
Okay,
I'm not going to let
executive
that
producer.
happen.
Okay, all right.
We could do some I don't know what you call those, ups and downs, but we're not going to run it into
roller coasters.
We're going to pull up before we hit the ground.
I know that you see this in in person now every day, but if you were the person who's actually responsible, Brad, for keeping Wiggins on track, just buckle up.
Yeah, there's nobody that's actually responsible for that, and I'm just kind of curious of what this is going to look like when I put my foot down.
Is it going to be the best hour of radio we've done this year when I'm not here, or is it going to be an absolute train wreck?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got to, I don't know if you are privy to the plan that we have, but we have a little bit of a plan, especially for the last segment. It's that middle one.
I would say
we're keeping open a little
I
bit.
would say don't tell it to me, because then I'm going to try to micromanage it.
Yeah, I won't tell you. That middle segment, the one where we really
I'll be
take
driving
over.
home listening. Maybe I'll call in. And
You know what we'll do?
nobody will be out there to answer the phone because they'll be in here.
We'll take calls, but it'll be like something very specific to something each of us has a complaint about.
Okay. Do you know? I know you know, Brad. Ryan, do you know the things that you're not allowed to talk about?
No, no, I don't.
Same things as usual.
Oh, you mean stuff like that would get us banned? And
We've had 3 infractions on this show on YouTube, and they're all from Ryan Wiggins when I was not here.
That's right.
And I mean, I make like $30 a month on YouTube.
Yeah, I know. So we got to hold that. We got to hold that up.
You had a windfall the other day, you told me.
So I don't make any, I mean, I do monetize the videos most of the time. They say, sorry, you can't make money off of this. That's fine. But we use it as a live stream, of course, which you can watch right now and vote in the poll. But we use it mostly for discussion. It's a way to contribute to the show and make it so that you can participate on the sly while you're supposed to be working, but really you're hanging out with us.
Fun fact, that's actually why I got invited to the show, is because I get more clicks from people looking at me online.
That's not true at all. That's not true at all. In fact, Tony Colombo used to be on this show, and one day they said Tony Colombo is going to Glover's show, and Annie, you get Wiggins.
I remember that show.
That actually happened.
I think there was some advocacy just based on my looks, is what I'm saying. Is that people,
For Glover to get Columbo instead of you?
He didn't stream, and you did. And so they said, well, let's put Wiggins. He's eye candy. Let's put him on the stream.
The eye candy, like those spicy jelly beans.
Ryan walks into the studio here. First time that I saw him. Is this the first time you've seen him? Or had you talked to him before this segment?
A little bit.
Ryan walks in, plugging his headphones in, minding his business. And Brad goes, I like that shirt, though.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't just I like the shirt.
I said, though. And he's like, well, yeah. And I kind of like looked at the both of them. And Ryan's like, yeah, we haven't had a conversation about this yet. This is not a continuation.
Yeah, I didn't think it was.
So if you want, I mean, maybe you should come on and tell us what you think about Ryan's shirt and maybe any, qualifiers that you'd like to add to how Ryan looks today. Like, he looks good, but.
Yeah, that's fine. You can do that. Brad did it. He just didn't say,
he didn't finish it.
He just said, though.
No, like fill in the blank.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's a salmon colored shirt. It is a collared shirt. We have a bit of an event tonight.
It's
so
a little darker than salmon.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. That's too dark
I
to be
would think
salmon.
that would be called
He
salmon.
wouldn't have said, though, if it would have been salmon.
Yeah, if it was salmon, or if it was real salmon, he would have said, nice shirt.
Is this Wiggins America?
This is
it is.
Wiggins!
Oh, Wiggins!
Mark on YouTube says, Wiggy, Wiggy, Wiggins.
Okay. Thanks for the feedback.
Though.
Real quick, since we don't have long.
You
just
didn't tell
to
us what we were talking about.
Yeah,
so.
I know it's my fault.
Yep.
So Biden is using wartime powers. It caught my attention just because of how often we've heard this in the last few years versus how often we heard it before. Because Trump did the same thing. He's using the Defense Production Act to take on this quote unquote energy emergency, which we could debate whether we're in an energy emergency or not. I'd say we're probably right on the line.
We are, but it's his fault.
But that's kind of what I'm saying.
This is an emergency. The emergency is Biden is the president.
The emergency is that he has caused an energy emergency. And
it's like, how could we fix this?
Now he's using wartime acts to basically increase the production of certain rare minerals like lithium, cobalt, and nickel. But this is all to operate more green energy. So if it were just to increase energy output, I would have different questions. But it's instead, it looks as if he has created a crisis and then is responding to that crisis by saying, well, now that there's a crisis,
if you think
I can do different things.
If you think he set it up this way, you are giving him far too much credit.
Well, you're right, because everything he does is so reactionary.
This is not a situation where the problem is overthinking.
Right.
You're right, but
Never let a good crisis go to waste.
Why shut it all down in the first place if it wasn't to do things like this to push the green energy agenda?
Ryan, never contribute to malice that which can easily be contributed to incompetence.
Say it slower. Say it slower.
Again, I agree.
Never contribute to malice.
Yes.
That which can be contributed to
You're
incompetence.
saying that slow enough so that both Ryan can understand it and you can say it correctly.
That's right.
I really do think there's a possibility we could contribute this to malice, though, because it looks like create crises so that we can gain power.
Well, that's to your point, though, Ryan. I do agree with you, because the solution when the gas is going up, they're like, buy an electric car. Well,
yes.
Screw you.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, get off your freaking high horse.
Yeah.
That doesn't use gas.
What? Where's the stimulus program? Cash for clunkers, cash for electric vehicles, and everybody gets a car. Come on, Oprah, where you at?
Yeah.
Of course not. That's ridiculous. Plus, our grid can't handle it. It's all bad. What?
Nothing. There's a deep issue.
you got something to say, and you
I'll be
panicked
back at
because we only had
2:20 and just go way into it.
What do I have here? You want to come back at 1:45 and spend some time with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
Don't blow the show in the 2 o'clock hour.
If your business has accounting problems, you probably have tax problems. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Running a small business is tough, and it's no surprise that companies that don't keep good books often run into tax issues. If you don't fix your accounting problems, you could be doomed to land in the same tax pitfalls every year. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I can help you get out of tax trouble and stay out. If your small business doesn't have a CPA or accountant, I can help you find one. And if you already have one, I work closely with them to resolve your tax problems quickly. Make no mistake, if the numbers don't add up, the IRS will catch it. Fix your accounting and tax problems before they snowball with help from the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hencher Johnson Orthodontics, where we send our kiddos. They just a couple weeks ago had their assessment. My daughter, 9, doesn't need anything right now. That was fantastic news. My son, on the other hand, is going to be a piece of work. That's no surprise. And when I go to see Dr. Jody at Hencher Johnson Orthodontics, the biggest reason I go there is because I trust her to tell me what I need to do for my kids and not all the other bells and whistles that I don't need to do for my kids. You're going to put yourself in very capable hands, the best hands, I might add, when you go to Hencher Johnson Orthodontics and talk to them about what you need for your mouth, for your teeth. And it's not just about having straight teeth. The dental health that comes along with having good orthodontia can really, really affect many areas of your health. We choose Dr. Jody and the amazing staff at Hencher Johnson Orthodontics, and I really hope that you consider them as well. In Columbia and Waterloo, you can find them right now online at HencherJohnsonOrtho.com.
Wealth-changing question. Is your advisor giving you incomplete advice? Besides investing, there's also taxes, insurance, estate planning, and other elements that can be stressful to organize. At Creative Planning, we provide all the expertise, all the advice you need, all in-house, ensuring all aspects of your wealth are working harder together, so you can enjoy your wealth instead of worrying about it. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Odyssey celebrates Women's History Month. Amelia Earhart broke boundaries in the sky as the first female aviator to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. She was one of the first aviators to promote commercial air travel, wrote best-selling books, and helped form the 99s, an organization for female pilots. In 1937, she shockingly disappeared on her quest to circumnavigate the globe. Odyssey, celebrating remarkable women. For more, check out our exclusive station, She Sings, on the Odyssey app.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
The president rolls up his sleeve again. Elisa Brady, Fox News. He has just received a second COVID booster shot authorized for Americans 50 and older yesterday, while announcing a new one-stop website for COVID information.
No longer will Americans have to scour the internet to find vaccines, treatments, tests, or masks. It's all there. And just go visit covid.gov.
The president also imploring Congress to pass more funding to fight COVID, including for vaccines, to be ready for more variants. Some Republicans have argued billions in previous COVID funding still hasn't been used. Earlier, President Biden authorizing another $500 million in aid to Ukraine during a call with President Zelensky. This is a House panel hears testimony from U.S. military leaders based in Europe.
The House Armed Services Committee Chair, Democratic Congressman Adam Smith, said the U.S. needs to do everything it can to support Ukraine.
We need to make sure that we don't stumble into a wider war with potentially catastrophic consequences for the entire globe. We do not want a war with Russia.
Ranking member Republican Mike Rogers said he wants to get even more equipment to Ukrainians.
Finally, I'd like to hear that we're going to reinforce our allies with permanent bases in Poland, Romania, and the Baltics. I've been pressing for more dispersed forces in Europe for years.
He said the script needs to be flipped, that Putin needs to be afraid of escalating against the West. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
One of Hollywood's biggest stars is stepping away from acting. His family says Bruce Willis was recently diagnosed with aphasia and that it's impacting his cognitive abilities. It's a condition that typically occurs after a stroke or head injury, but it can also develop gradually from a brain tumor or a degenerative disease. Willis is 67. The family doesn't offer more details on his case, but they say they're moving through it as a strong family unit. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
Americans don't trust big media. The source you can trust is Newsmax. Find it on all major cable systems or download the free Newsmax app on your phone. Millions are watching Newsmax and the Newsmax team with Rob Finnerty, Eric Bowling, Sean Spicer and Lindsey Keith, Greg Kelly, Stinchfield and Rob Schmidt. Plus weekends with Huckabee, Diamond and Silk, Gorka and Wendy Bell. 20 million people have made the switch to Newsmax. Try it. You may never go back.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Strong gusty winds continue this afternoon. Winds from the northwest. Some of the gusts 40 to 45. Still some showers around. A couple of strong thunderstorms here and there. Temperatures now falling through the 60s. It's colder tonight. Gusty winds, some showers. 40 degrees. A wet snowflake towards morning. Thursday, windy and chilly to be out and about. 49, but it feels colder. Down to 32 with a light freeze Thursday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's happening right here, right now.
The FDA's just green-lighted a fourth COVID vaccine jab for some of us, though its effectiveness is not well understood. FDA did not consult its panel of outside experts for their opinion before making this authorization.
DHS just announced that they are going to start having all migrants get vaccinated for COVID-19 while they are in federal custody. And that begs the question, why now all of a sudden?
Right here, right now. 97.1 FM Talk.
Home title theft. That's the identity fraud you really need to worry about. Why? Because home title theft is on the rise. It's devastating, and you can even get evicted from your home. Look, credit card and bank identity thefts are a nuisance. But if a thief gets your credit card, the card company handles it. And the same with your bank account. Your bank covers it. But when a cyber thief forges his name onto your home's title, he can take over your home and even have you evicted. That's why you should protect the legal title to your home with Home Title Lock, America's leader in home title protection. The instant they detect a foreign or domestic cyber thief tampering with your home's title, they mobilize their U.S.-based experts to help shut it down. Protect your most valuable asset. Go to gettitlelock.com and register your address to see if you're already a victim. And use promo code RADIO for 30 free days of protection. Again, that's gettitlelock.com. Promo code RADIO.
I'm Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group. I'm proud to say we are a family business. Through innovative financial tools, my nephew Bob and I are committed to making sure your retirement nest egg is kept safe from market declines. As a matter of fact, we have never lost a dime of our clients' money, and we won't lose any of yours either.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, and the secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. As we look ahead at the likelihood of increasing volatility in the market, it's important that you protect your nest egg from market losses, as that's the engine that drives your retirement income.
Our family would like to help your family retire comfortably and keep your retirement safe and secure. Call us now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 36 years. Call us now, 314-993-9494. Or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today. SidingExpress.com.
Tony La Russa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Download the Odyssey app to listen to 97.1 FM Talk and find content that moves you. Anytime, anywhere. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk on the go. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, Riverviews, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right? You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not a married sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not a married sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're very glad that you are here with us today. A quick reminder before we get to our guest to go vote in the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. Who's the most unlikable after the Oscar slap? Chris Rock, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, and the Academy. Got about 100 votes in so far. We got halfway through the show here. So please get your vote in so that we can talk about it later in the 2:00 hour. There's so many things going on in the world right now and so many different scenarios where the news media can take a story one way or the other, which is, nothing really new compared to what we've seen during the Trump administration. But some stories get covered a lot. Some stories don't get covered at all. And one story that continues to kind of bubble up to the surface is that Democrat committee that is trying to push the January 6th investigation. And our friend Deroy Murdock, Fox News contributor, is here to talk to us about it today. Deroy, welcome back. Happy Wednesday. Good to have you here as always.
Happy Wednesday, Annie. How are you?
I'm doing okay. And, it's a really rainy, icky day here in St. Louis, but it's also a little bit warmer. So I'm going to consider that a wash and take it.
A partial win.
Yeah, it's a partial win. I like it better than the cold. Have you been following carefully and closely what this committee, it's a bipartisan committee. There are Republicans on this committee that are looking into what took place on January 6th and the people who they're subpoenaing and holding in contempt and so on and so forth. I mean, certainly they're trying to get to the bottom of it, and this isn't a political witch hunt.
I followed it a little bit. It's a little hard to follow this, what with the crime and Ukraine and inflation and loss of energy independence. As you said, there are many balls in the air these days. It's very, very hard to keep your eye on any one of them at any given time. But I know that the Democrats have been pushing this January 6th committee along with the assistance of Liz Cheney and also Adam Kinzinger of next door state of yours, Illinois, who are basically Rhino Republicans who've been going along with this whole thing. They hate President Trump so much they want to be part of the effort to engage in this big witch hunt against him. And I know that they're trying to get the Peter Navarro and I believe Stephen Miller, if I'm not mistaken, under contempt of Congress because they've not cooperated. I believe tomorrow they're trying to get Jared Kushner to come in. And this is all designed to promote the idea that January 6th was all some kind of an attempted coup d'etat on the part of Donald J. Trump, and he wasn't happy with the way the election turned out, so I guess he was going to send in a bunch of MAGA supporters to go and take over the Congress, stop the counting of the Electoral College votes, and somehow remain in office for another 4 years. Not really sure how that would have worked out, but that's kind of the narrative that the left has been pushing. They're going to push it and push as hard as they can and continue to persecute President Trump and keep him in the headlines and do their best to keep Joe Biden out of the headlines, lest he create even more damage for the Democrat Party.
Deroy Murdock with us right now. It's interesting, too, to look at the timeline of events that took place on January 6th, but also leading up to January 6th, because there was intelligence that was received in Washington, D.C. with the ability to act on it to increase security and requests made to do that. And I don't really hear people talking about those requests and who was making those requests in the context of the whole event.
Well, this doesn't come up. And again, the left doesn't want us to talk about this. But the fact is that before the January 6th chaos, President Trump in the Oval Office in a meeting with the acting Secretary of Defense, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Kash Patel, who's the Chief of Staff at the Pentagon, authorized the deployment of 10,000 National Guard troops in D.C. to protect the Capitol. Now, if you were planning a coup d'etat to take over Congress, fire Nancy Pelosi, send Chuck Schumer back to Manhattan, back to Brooklyn, would you also bring out 10,000 National Guard troops at the same time? Or put another way, if you and I decided to rob a bank, would we also call the police and say, hey, the bank at the corner of First and Main is going to be robbed tomorrow at 3 p.m. You might want to send a dozen cop cars and a bunch of cops on foot to protect the bank. That would make absolutely no sense, right? So this is what we're led to believe by the Democrats, that even though President Trump wanted 10,000 troops out in the streets to protect the Capitol. He also was trying to overthrow the government, his own government, I suppose. And then it turns out the reason that the National Guard troops were not deployed is because Muriel Bowser, the Democrat mayor of Washington, D.C., and Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, also a Democrat, said, no thanks, we don't want the National Guard troops on the streets, that the regular cops can handle it. They're the ones who told the National Guard to stand down. They're the ones who refused their cooperation. And Trump was the one trying to protect the Capitol and keep things calm. They're the ones who stepped in and prevented that extra layer of protection from being there. And had you had 10,000 troops on the streets around the Capitol, I think the people who attacked the Capitol would have turned around and gone to the Smithsonian to look at some artwork or look at some old historical documents.
Fox News contributor Deroy Murdock with us right now. I'm curious what your assessment is of the real purpose of this investigation. When the Republicans were trying to put people on this committee, they didn't want the Republicans wanted on there. Nancy Pelosi picked the likes of Adam Kinzinger, who is from my home state of Illinois, which is just tragic. And he will no longer be in the House after this midterm election because he's not running again. And Liz Cheney, two people who have obvious biases against Donald Trump. I mean, they detest the man for whatever reasons they have, fine, whatever. But there's no good faith effort that looks like they're working on behalf of the American people. This just looks incredibly partisan. Is their goal to try to marginalize Donald Trump even more than they already have? Or do you think they're actually trying to get to the bottom of something?
No, I don't think they're essentially trying to get to the bottom of anything. I think they're trying to keep Trump's name in the news, to beat up on him on and on and on, because he's their big bête noir, if you will, and to use probably an issue on which, frankly, he's very vulnerable because the Capitol was attacked. There were riots. You and I, in fact, were on the air at the time it was happening.
Yeah.
And both of us denounced it in real time as it occurred. And the Democrats want to keep this whole concept in the air that if you voted for Trump, you are an insurrectionist, you're trying to overthrow the government, and that 74 million of us basically want to engage in violence and carnage to get our way, with Trump leading all of us as the ringleader of this kind of political violence. And the more they can keep that idea out there, the more it makes Trump look bad, or at least that's what they want, and keeps their base ginned up and keeps the left all fired up. And that's why they're doing this. I don't think they're trying to get to the bottom of anything. I think they're just trying to use this story, this so-called narrative, and the full focus on January 6th as a way of beating up on Trump and beating up on Trump supporters.
Deroy, I'm curious about your thoughts on the Republican Party and the way that they've managed this, because like most things, when the left really controls the narrative through, it's not just the mainstream media, because honestly, Fox News trounces pretty much every other cable news that is out there, but it's the, Hollywood, it's the music industry, it's the sports industry, it's the classrooms all across the country who band together to push a certain narrative. And what they really do is make it so that people are afraid to discuss it, to even ask questions that might have answers that sensibly explain where the other side is coming from. We're supposed to be too scared to ask those questions. And when I look at what took place on January 6th, it is completely lost in translation that there were a lot of people who showed up to hear what the president had to say in the Capitol that day, who had nothing to do with what went on in the Capitol building. And in fact, our morning show host was there. And as I was talking to him, like I was talking to you, he was unaware of the things. He was there on the other side of the building, unaware of the things that we were watching in real time on television. Those people who were at that event had a right to be together, upset with the direction that the country was going, upset with the election, and to be there. That's a First Amendment right. That's all lost in translation because of the actions of some people who decided to break into the Capitol building. And I'm just curious about your thoughts on how the Republican Party has handled that situation since then.
Look, those people who went to hear President Trump speak on the ellipse on January 6th, complaining about allegations and suspicions of vote fraud and irregularities and so on, had every right to be there, just as much as on January 21st, 2017. I think it was something like 25 or 50,000 women in the Women's March were there to hear Madonna say, sometimes I think about blowing up the White House. Now, I wouldn't use that kind of rhetoric, but if they didn't like Donald J. Trump, they didn't like the way that election turned out, they had suspicions. It turns out to be baseless, that this was all orchestrated by the Kremlin and Vladimir Putin. They had every right to be there and spout nonsense. Our side had every right to be there January 6th and listen to whatever President Trump had to say and applaud or cheer or laugh or boo and hiss, whatever they wanted to do. That's under the First Amendment. And there were people who were there just for the rally. They didn't go anywhere near the Capitol. Some of them turned around, went home and drove home. And people found out they were there and they either got fired or they had the FBI show up and start asking questions. These are people who didn't even approach the Capitol. They went in the opposite direction. Some people stood outside the Capitol and never went inside. Other people saw folks walking in and assumed incorrectly the Capitol Police just let people come in and enjoy the Capitol and look around. They ended up going inside, not having broken in, but naively believing they were allowed to be there. And then those people have gotten in trouble. Some of them have ended up in jail and stayed in jail since January 6th of last year. So I think the GOP needs to remind people of that and do so often and vocally, and frankly speak up about these people who are in, some of them have been in solitary confinement for about 15 months now without any charges. So this is the kind of thing you'd expect to see in East Germany or in Cuba or in the old Soviet Union, not in the United States of America. So the GOP could do a better job of reminding people that everybody on January 6th who heard the president speak had every right to do so. The people who did break the windows and kick down the doors, those people ought to be prosecuted. And then the folks who wandered in aimlessly and sort of, as I say, naively, maybe they ought to be told don't do that again, but I don't think they ought to be going to jail for that sort of thing.
Deroy Murdock, Fox News contributor. We always love having you here, and we look forward to talking about these issues each week because they're very important. Sometimes with the craziness of the world, they get overlooked. Deroy, we'll talk to you again next week. Thank you for being here.
Annie, very good. Talk to you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You can find him on Fox News. He's a regular contributor there. I don't think he does Twitter. Smart man. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Marc Cox is going to join us, and he is going to talk to us a bit about his school board assessment. He has looked into the details of a lot of these local elections that are taking place. He's put the work in, he's put the effort in, the time in, and we're going to talk to him about it when we come back. Don't go away.
Tell me if you love me or not, love me or not, love me or not. At the house on you, am I lucky or not, lucky or not?
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
You gotta tell me if you love me or not, love me or not, love me or not. I'm wishing for you, am I lucky or not, lucky or not, lucky or not?
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Here's 97.1 insider Hans von Spakovsky.
They would push through bad bills that would actually destroy the economy of this country and our general standard of living.
Where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter.com/hire.
Real estate prices are through the roof, right? Home buyers are paying way over asking price. You're tempted to sell, but you're not 100% sure you're ready to move. In a perfect world, you could sell your home for full value, bank the cash, and continue living there as long as you like. Well, I found your perfect world at Truehold.com. This is life-changing. Truehold will pay you 100% of your home's value, 100% in cash right now. And here's the best part. You don't have to move unless you want to. You can stay in your home as long as you'd like. Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance too. Let's review. Truehold pays you 100% of your home's value in cash within 30 days. Use your cash to do anything and everything you've dreamed of doing. Travel, pay off debt, or buy that new right-size home on the golf course. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com and discover the smarter, faster alternative to cashing out your home's full value without having to move. That's 855-300-9993 or go to Truehold.com.
Home warranty. I know, right? Buying coverage for appliances, your heater and AC, etc. from a company that hopes you never ever have a claim or call. Let me introduce you to a real home warranty company, the kind that actually wants to help you. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. Upkeep visits your home 4 times a year to maintain your appliances and equipment. You will never get a lack of maintenance denial because Upkeep does the maintenance. Also nice, Upkeep assigns you one point person to help you. You won't be passed around like an office hot potato, and you won't get subcontractors. Upkeep does all their work, so there's no blame game. Just experts helping you. Visit upkeepstl.com today and type in 971 for $100 off. Don't be denied. Instead, be relieved. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. 636-387-7331.
Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep, and you'll have a happy home.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Me and all my friends, we're all misunderstood. They say we stand for nothing and there's no way we ever could. Now we see everything that's going wrong with the world and those who lead it. We just feel like we don't have
My theme is basically parental rights, transparency, and community values. And what started me on this whole journey was about a couple of years ago. I saw that cohorts of teachers were being sent to educational equity consultants for training.
So that is David Randleman, is a candidate for Lindbergh School Board. And the guy who is behind all of this here for 97.1, who's putting a ton of effort into making sure that you can go to the polls with the information, equipped with the information that you need to have. That's Marc Cox of the Marc Cox Morning Show. Marc, welcome back to the show. Good afternoon. Glad to have you here again.
Yeah, thank you, Annie. Thanks for having me on to talk about this very important issue.
Of course. So you've got a voter's guide, and it's specific to school board elections, which is something that I think that a lot of people are going to be interested in seeing what you've been able to, expose, or the people you've been able to interview, so on and so forth. Tell me everything that we need to know about what you've put together for folks.
So April 5th, next Tuesday, are the municipal elections on the Missouri side of the river. A lot of different districts, not all of them, but a lot of them have school boards positions opening up. There are generally 2 seats in each of these districts that has an election. In some cases, there's a 3rd seat because of a resignation or a vacancy or something like that. But most of them have 2 seats. And there was a revolution last year, I believe, on the part of parents. I think revolution is the best way to put it. People are revolting over the fact that we have to even talk about on the radio the possibility of the FBI being called on a parent because they stood up and said something the school board didn't like. Not a threat, but no evidence of anybody being physically threatened, because I've asked the police about that in the cases where that's been alleged. And yet their voices, they don't feel like their voices are being heard. And I think there's been an awakening to the fact that if you don't get out and vote on April 5th, you have nobody to blame but yourself. And when it's encouraged more people to get involved. And that's where I'm trying to have an impact on this.
Marc, I think it's really interesting to really shine the spotlight on. I think it's so great that you're doing this, because an April 5th election, how many people actually vote? like what percentage of people are going to show up to the polls and vote in this April 5th election? It's always incredibly sad to see how few people show up to make these important decisions for our kids, for our school districts, for our communities. And when you put something like this together where people can go to 971talk.com and you're going to see it right at the top, you can't miss it, to see what the work that Marc's put in here. There's really strength in numbers that can come from what you've put together here and the ease with which other people can say, yeah, I like this or this particular point, and then they can use this to share with their friends and family.
Well, I encourage people to go check it out. I mean, there may be people who disagree with me for whatever reason. I've explained the methodology that I use right at the very top, and it's pretty simple. I looked at all of these candidates. I talked to people that lived in their communities. In some of these school districts, I have zero recommendations, and I've had people email me and say, well, why didn't you include my district, like Hazelwood, for example? Well, because I didn't find a candidate in Hazelwood that seems to agree that parents are the primary stakeholders in their children's education, or that parents shouldn't have a say in when their kids are taught about sex and at what age, or masking mandates, or just a whole litany of complaints that parents have had the last couple of years that we've seen school districts repeatedly ignore the will of the parents. So all of these candidates are pro-parent, and most of them are against some of the, you've heard the diversity and equity training that's gone on in some of these school districts. We played the bites on the air at 97.1 repeatedly. These are parents that have said enough. And you can talk to your blue in the face to one of these very educated superintendents. Almost all of them have PhDs, and they are in hook, line, and sinker on all of this stuff. You might as well save your breath. Unless you have a parent on the board who's willing to stand up and say, this is wrong, I should get to say when my child is subjected to this, not you, then it's never going to end.
How much of what is going on in our school districts has just been able to go on in our school districts? The things that we know are taking place across the country has caused a lot of people to say, well, what about my school district? Is that happening here? How long have these school districts been able to kind of operate within their own agendas without accountability because people don't pay attention to school board elections like we're going to have in Missouri on April 5th?
Yeah, forever. I mean, 20, 30 years. I mean, the indoctrination's been long. I had a guy call in this morning and kind of chew me out. You're politicizing these school districts. That's not what this should be. These should be nonpartisan positions looking out for the best interests of our children. And I'm like, stop.
Now, who's made it partisan?
Stop.
Let's be real about this.
That got blown out of the water when the unions, the teachers' unions in many cases, chose to get involved, endorse two candidates, run them as a slate, and then make sure that they got the funding they needed and make sure they were recommended to be voted for by all of the teachers that lived in that particular district. And at that point, they started loading these boards with people of their choice who would vote on issues the way they wanted them to vote. So it's been politicized for a long time. Here's the key to my voter guide. I didn't look at whether any of these people had an R or a D after their name. I could care less. It's not a partisan issue to me. It's a parenting issue. I want people that recognize the risk that our children are subjected to if this goes unchecked any longer. And the greatest opportunity, and you asked what the voter turnout was, I don't know, in an April election, what is it, 20% maybe, 15, 20%? I mean, it's low. And the more people who turn out, the greater say we have. I would support moving these municipal elections to November. Let's have them in a general election and quit doing this in the spring when there's less interest and less focus on these races.
We're speaking with Marc Cox of the Marc Cox Morning Show, weekdays 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on 97.1. So you got this voter guide up, and people can go to 971talk.com. It's right there on the top, super simple to get to. And, do you expect to see reaction from this? Like, do you think that if your voter guide really pushes people in the direction of some common sense votes here on April 5th, how do you think these communities are going to react to a potential shift in the way those school boards are going to go?
It's a great question. I mean, we know how some of the candidates are reacting so far. I shouldn't say candidates. Some of the supporters in some of these districts are worried about this popular uprising by parents who want to have a say. And out here in Rockwood, for example, there have been reports of signs being stolen. I think that happens to some extent in every election, but it's been a little more pronounced out here. There seems to almost be a panic on the part of some of these, establishment candidates for the school board. They don't like what they're hearing from Izzy Emig is one of the candidates out here. Jessica Clark's another one. I think Mark Reardon and I have had both of them on talking about this. So there's going to be pushback. And I would imagine that there'll be a rebound effect 2 years from now where they'll try to come back and get two more of their preferred candidates on the board, the NEA, the Missouri NEA, and the other teachers organizations. It's not an anti-teacher movement, and I think that's key. You're married to a teacher.
Yes.
My mom was a teacher. My aunt was a teacher. My sister-in-law just retired from teaching after close to 30 years. It's not. I love teachers, but what I don't want are school districts and school administrators being the primary stakeholders in my kids' education and telling me when and where they should learn certain issues. The parents should be able to stand up and have an impact on that. And the only way to do it right now is to do it from the position of being an elected board member.
Well, there's nothing that what you're suggesting that people consider in a vote is not anti-teacher, and it's very short-sighted for anybody to assume that teachers who are in the classroom right now, who may even be union members, that they ascribe to the direction that the union has taken their representation and their political activism. I mean, you can look at any demographic. It doesn't have to be teachers. It can be, different minorities that are out there, or women, or, different age demographics that exist, and compare the Democratic Party's interests to those specific demographic interests. And it's a very consistent thing to say the Democratic Party has really kind of left these people in the dust. So don't assume that a woman is a Democrat. Don't assume that a Black person is in lockstep with the Democrats. Don't assume that the teachers are in lockstep with the union. This is a time where everybody has to really look at what are the actual issues we're talking about. And like you said, don't look for the R, don't look for the D. Look at the issue and decide for your grown-up self what the right position is on it, and then move forward. And if that falls on one side of the aisle or the other, so be it. But that's not the initial place to react.
Well, the good news in all of this, you're absolutely right. The good news in all of this is that people are starting to pay attention. I said the other day, and I would stand by this, I think you could walk down the street and talk to 4 out of 5 people who would have no idea, number one, even when their school board meets, and number two, they probably couldn't name you one person who sits on their school board. And I think people are starting to wake up to that problem and realize that they've ignored this for far too long, whether they're taxpayers and stakeholders in the district or whether they're parents and stakeholders in the district. It's time to do something about it. I hope we can have an impact. I've been encouraging people to download the voter guide, read how the methodology I use for recommending these candidates. If there's not a candidate in your district, it's because I didn't deem any of them worthy of my endorsement, certainly. And then share it. Share it with your friends and your family and your neighbors, and talk to them about how important it is to set an alarm next Tuesday if they're in Missouri and go vote.
Yeah.
That's what they've got to do.
Yeah. Take some friends, take some family members with you. If you're somebody who's listening to the show in this conversation, you're probably a motivated voter, but you have people in your life that this absolutely affects, and they may not even know this exists, and they'd probably be happy to vote. And if they don't really know what the options are, this voter guide's a great place for them to start so that they can make their own decision. So 971talk.com, you've got about a dozen interviews up here. You've got the easy to download voter guide that people can take with them, print, download, keep on their phone, and share with friends and family. Mark, thank you for doing this legwork. I know there's a lot of people who are going to be grateful to have your opportunity on here. And also, somebody asked, is this just St. Louis County? How far out does this go?
Well, I mean, it goes out into to Warren County and Jefferson County, and any big district locally that has a school board election in this cycle should be on there within the listening pattern of 97.1. Now, I guess it's possible that our signal has reached far enough without me knowing it that there's a very outlying district that I missed. And if people want to try to alert me to that, I'll do my best to look into it. But I think it's pretty comprehensive, Annie, of the districts that are going to have elections next Tuesday.
Aaron on our YouTube channel just said, I just viewed it. Amazing resource. I will be sharing it with family in our school district and on social. So follow Aaron's lead. Mark, thank you for the time today, and thank you for this work here. It's great stuff, and we're happy to share it with everybody listening right now.
Thanks for the opportunity, Annie. I appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk to you again soon, Mark. Thank you so much.
You bet.
So Marc Cox, the Marc Cox Morning Show voter guide on 971talk.com right now. Go give it a look-see and see what you think. Everybody has the ability to take in any information you have and make your own decisions. This is another resource that you'd absolutely consider before you make your decisions. And then, of course, make your own decisions. And if you did find it useful and you did find it helpful, share it with your friends and family. Quick break. When we come back, a little more Ryan Wiggins in studio, I believe, is supposed to come back in here. And again, that 2 o'clock hour, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. And I guess the kids will play while I'm gone. I trust you, Brad, specifically.
I guess I'm the oldest.
I mean, immaturity. Immaturity. I hand her to you to care for while I'm out, because I'm going to be on a highway listening, unable to do anything about it. So
maybe call and rage.
I know, but like I said, everybody's going to be in the studio. No one's going to be out there to answer my call. It's going to be the most helpless thing ever. We'll be back in just a minute with more Annie Frey Show. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. The Mark Reardon Show.
My county councilman in St. Louis County is not seeking re-election. Jim Fitch, I missed the filing deadline. Could you not have done this yesterday so I could have filed?
Well, Mark, I would have had a deal with you. How about I take your position and you take mine?
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Imagine what a new coat of paint can do for the interior of your home this spring. This is Mark Reardon for CertaPro Painters, and CertaPro can get it done for you. I've depended on the pros from CertaPro for more than a decade now. They painted room after room, and one of the reasons I keep hiring them is because they simply knock it out of the park, and I don't have to do the work. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Transform your home or business this spring with the help of CertaPro. Get started with a free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro Painters, proven and trusted experts in painting.
Yachty and Waino are back for another season in their legendary careers. On Saturday, April 9th, celebrate their long-standing battery with one of 4 mystery jerseys. That day, the Cardinals host the Pirates, and 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a mystery jersey featuring either Yadier Molina or Adam Wainwright, courtesy of Coca-Cola and Walmart. Which one will you get? Find out on Saturday, April 9th. For tickets, visit Cardinals.com.
2021 marked the 50th and final season of Mike Shannon's legendary career in the broadcast booth. Sunday, April 10th, when the Cardinals host the Pirates, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a one-of-a-kind Mike Shannon bobblehead. Kick off the 2022 season and honor the longtime voice of the Cardinals with this commemorative bobblehead thanks to Phillips 66. That's Sunday, April 10th, the Cardinals, the Pirates, and the Shannon bobblehead. Get your tickets at Cardinals.com.
Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group, along with the family business folks, his nephew Bob Kershaw and his wife Tammy, have been running a retirement advisory group in such a successful way for people just like you. People who are close to retirement. Maybe you want retirement to be even closer than you first thought, but you're going to need to know if you're capable of doing that. Put a lot of time and effort into it. You've certainly put a lot of sacrifice and money into it. And here's the deal. You want to make sure that if you decide to step away from work, that what you have done is going to be there to work for you. That's the Thomas Helbig Retirement Advisory Group specialty. He's going to give you the worry-free retirement that you've always wanted. And he's going to make sure that you, like the rest of his clients, have never lost a penny. You can schedule a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review at 314-993-9494. Just give them a call. Tell them you heard about him on the Annie Frey Show, and you want to sit down and have a chat. They'll get you on the schedule. 314-993-9494. You can find them online at retirementkey.com.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Marc Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues, 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Find the car you want, new or used. Get it at Clement, get pre-approved. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. ClementAutoGroup.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Get in your comfort zone with a new HVAC system. Double carrier cool cash rebates for a total of $143 are available on qualifying new HVAC systems. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
If it's bumper to bumper or smooth sailing, Sue Thomas has you covered with dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Yes.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. So the Annie Frey YouTube channel live chat poll is who is the most unlikable after the Oscars slap. Now, I am going to be stepping out of the studio here in about 15 minutes, turning it over to the cast and crew of the Annie Frey Show. So don't dare change your dial. I'm going to be listening on the way home and pray that it is in good hands. And of course it is. But I would love for you to go vote in this poll. I'm going to talk here real quick with us about who we think, and then we'll see how the votes continue to go because quite a few people have gotten their votes in already. Who's the most unlikable after the Oscar slap? Chris Rock, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, and the Academy. Brad, you said you had some...
I do. I have some thoughts. Before we get into that, Ryan, Mom said that I got to sit in her seat while she's gone. So
I did.
Yes.
Okay, I'll just stay here. That's fine. I'll stay where I'm always at.
Has anyone told Hannah that she's running the board?
I have.
You have? Okay.
Yeah,
I was going to, and I didn't. So, Hannah, guess what? Good. Thank you, Brad.
Yeah.
As a good executive producer.
Yeah, I'm executively producing the show.
I love it.
All right. So, for me, it was close, but it was Jada Pinkett Smith. She's the most unlikable person in the situation. And it's because she can't take a joke. And, like, I know she's sensitive about it. I know she's got an issue. But there's better ways to handling it than what she did. And I don't know that Will Smith does it if he doesn't get the look. Because when your wife looks at you like that, you got to go do something about it.
Okay.
So,
what about you, Ryan?
Well, I would agree because the whole thing starts with her being upset about it. Have we determined that Chris Rock knew that she had some sort of problem? Like that she had alopecia?
Chris hasn't said anything.
Because I get the sense that
the smartest thing ever because everybody's on his side.
Yeah.
Just keep
Why
your mouth
say
shut,
anything?
dude. Because his tickets to it, he's doing a tour, like a global comedy tour right now. Ticket sales going through the roof. Keep your mouth shut, Chris, but you already knew that.
Yeah, really. So I just wonder if he even knew, because I assumed when you look at her, you think, oh, she's probably doing it as a fashion statement. She probably shaved her head. I didn't know she had any issue. And so I would think that he probably didn't either, unless there's some sort of insider knowledge. So I gotta say that she kind of starts the whole problem with her reaction.
The question is, who's the most unlikable?
Her.
So you're saying Jada?
Yeah.
I'm saying Jada too. She, to me, is the problem here. And I put this on our show Facebook page, the Annie Frey Show Facebook page, a couple nights ago, and it has spawned quite the reaction here from our community. And I shared it from somebody else. Her name is Brittany Jordan. My understanding is Brittany Jordan is just a person who had an opinion and put it on Facebook, and it kind of went viral. So I'm just going to read Brittany's words here. So I'm going to take a whole different approach to this. As a woman, I feel Jada turned the switch on Will last night. As you see, Will is laughing and bright, and her face is just pure annoyance. I do understand she lost her hair due to a condition, and it is a sensitive topic. However, once the camera was off of them, I feel she scorned Will for laughing and may have insulted him. She already has this man in a sensitive space because of her entanglement and saying how she is unsatisfied sexually by him. To me, it seems Will felt like he had to stand up for Jada so that he can be seen as valuable and that he doesn't look weak in her eyes. Sadly, on the contrary, he looked even weaker and more broken. Her face after the slap was one of enjoyment at the cost of her husband's wild behavior. And now he will be a meme again, all over a woman who doesn't truly seem to respect him. I am losing all respect for Jada, especially as a woman. You are supposed to help your man elevate and stay a positive course, and she seems to be bringing him down. Thoughts on that?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
I think it summed it up well, at least from the position that I have come from. And you got to know a little context about their relationship, and they have an open marriage. And, you know, I think their open marriage is one that he like agreed to, but was brought to the table. Like, here's how it's going to be. And he decided, I guess, to stay. He's talked too about indiscretions that he's had, inappropriate relationships that he had, you know, I say inappropriate in the context of marriage, which I don't personally believe that open marriage is marriage. I think you've kind of said, no more marriage. Maybe you still live together. Maybe you haven't officially divorced, but that isn't what marriage is to me. The understanding of having a mutual respect for one another. I don't know how a woman could disrespect her husband more than the way she has disrespected him. And he's supposed to kind of, I don't understand. I never have understood like the whole Red Table Talk thing that took place a year ago where they sat down and talked about her indiscretions. And she basically, she explained and excused away her infidelity towards him by trying to say, well, here's how it was. As if some sort of explanation is going to make Will go, well, I do understand where you're coming from. And you had those emotions and you decided to act on it. You're married. You don't get to do that. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's not what marriage is. And I do feel like she's disrespected him over and over again, but he's disrespected her as well. It's not as if Will is not some innocent puppy that continues to be disrespected by Jada. They mutually disrespect one another. But she seems to be the one, it doesn't seem to me publicly that she has had Will's best interest at heart. And in a relationship, in a marriage, you're always supposed to have the best interest of the person you're with at heart. Always. More so than your own best interests. You just married somebody. Like, as in a pastor, not somebody new. Hey, Terry, guess what? I would imagine that in the process of doing that, you're explaining to this couple that, guess what? You're now one. You're now one. You're making this commitment that you are one person together. So what is in the best interest of the other is actually in your own best interest.
Right. It's the that's what the vows are, to have and to hold, for better or for worse, till death do you part. That you don't bring somebody else in. You also talk about leaving your father and mother and cleaving to your wife, you know. So the two become one flesh. That's the whole basis of marriage, two becoming one. So that means that loving somebody means loving them the way you would want to be loved, which means that you have to put their interest in what's best for them ahead of what you want for yourself.
Which is in turn what's best for
both
all of you. Yeah. And that relationship understanding it's the whole point. It's why you do it. I mean, if you don't want to have that respect, then just don't get married. Just cohabitate. I mean, if you don't respect the institution of marriage, don't do it. But you also don't get to, you don't get to take marriage and redefine it for everybody else because you don't want to make that level of commitment. This is what marriage is. Participate or don't. I don't care what you do. I mean, like, good grief. We've talked all about Disney and what Disney wants to do and sexualizing everything. If you go back to the doesn't say gay bill that Governor DeSantis just talked about, it's about not talking about sexuality K through 3. It's not talking about homosexuality or pansexuality or however many other sexualities. Don't talk to my kid about sexuality. Just don't do it. They need to know their ABCs. They need to know how to put them in an order where they can read it on a piece of paper and come up with a word. That's what you're educating them about. If you're not going to respect the institution of marriage, don't do it. And don't engage in marriage. And we could talk about this religiously, but the law of the land is the law of the land. I'm not talking about any specific kind of marriage, but I'm saying if you're going to be in a marriage, you're with that person. And if it's an open marriage, of course you're going to have trouble. You don't get to come in and wreck the commitment that is supposed to be made in marriage and then tell everybody else they are wrong.
Yeah. You can rewrite the rules all you want, but I think what we're seeing is what that ends up looking like. A lot of people are hurt, not knowing what to do with their crazy emotions they're having, and we're all watching it play out in Hollywood. And this whole thing is so Hollywood too.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend text me just this morning just to show you that people really are still talking about it. I mean, it's such a big deal. How many times have you watched it? I probably watched it about 20 times just because he's like, first of all, I think this whole thing is staged. And I said, I don't think so at all.
It's not staged.
I really don't, because
real quick here. You say no, not staged.
I say no.
Absolutely not staged.
Totally real.
And what I told him
We're
for that
3 for 3
reason
here, yeah.
is that Will Smith and especially Jada come out looking terrible in this. This doesn't amplify their careers. And he said, well, I think their judgment is so skewed as to what's
They
good
live
and
in an
bad
alternate reality.
that they might have even participated in it thinking it would benefit their careers. And I'm like, I don't
No.
think so. But
I'm not there for that.
But I get the judgment thing. I just think that your emotions are all over the place because you don't really know how to handle the person next to you undermining you while telling you that you're the one for them. You know, it's real messed up.
It's so controlling and possessive and selfish to be in a relationship where you say, here's how this is going to go. I'm going to do what I need to do for me, and you're going to be okay with it because you're going to get to do what you need to do for you. It never considers the other person and how the point of that relationship is that you're supposed to do that for each other. That's the point. Leave each other. Go do something else. I mean, she said to Will that Tupac, I mean, if you didn't know Tupac was a part of the story, now you do. Tupac was the love of her life. That's what she's telling. Like, you're freaking married to the man. Tupac was the love of her life. And then her entanglement was with like a sub 20-year-old person that they were supposed to be mentoring. And then she got into a relationship with him. You know why? Because he made her feel a certain way and she needed more of it. It's all about her. That wasn't about him. Everything is about her. And Will Smith, everything about Will Smith is about Will Smith. That's why he couldn't handle his emotions when somebody made a joke, which in my opinion, whether he knew about the disease or not, has nothing to do with what Will did. Because as I said the day after this happened, if Jada, who wants the spotlight, even when the spotlight isn't shining, really cared about bringing attention to alopecia and her struggle with it, she has the voice, she has the face, and she has the platform to use any moment, but specifically that moment, to stand up for people who are going through what she's going through and make it about that, to make it about those people. But it was all about Jada once again, and it was all about Will once again. And that's how these people live. And they don't have any idea that the rest of us are all out here going, I just can't relate to you on any possible level. Like, in what reality do you get away with this behavior? Both of you. And then we all kind of roll our eyes and we look because it's really hard to turn your head away from a train wreck. But here we are. And I mean, they're all unlikable except for Chris Rock, who is raking in the dough selling tickets right now.
No kidding.
Don't you kind of want to see what he says at a comedy show?
Yeah, the first thing he says to anybody, everybody's going to be glued to it. So you're right. He should hold off, sell
Just
his
kidding.
first comment to the highest bidder, and move along.
Did we pull Jim Carrey sound?
We did.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot to play that. Save it for me tomorrow.
Okay.
No, you can play it if you want to. I don't care what you do. I'm not telling you what to do. You guys ready to take this next hour?
We are ready to go, I think.
Yes.
Brad?
Who's at the top of the hour? Me
So-
and
You and I can't pronounce
Robert
Cahaly.
Cahaly.
Yeah.
Robert Cahaly of Trafalgar Group.
Mhm.
We talked to him yesterday, and we're going to give that back to you because there's a really, really interesting conversation about the Trafalgar Group's look into the Missouri primary. And a lot of what was discussed there is a new poll out with the Trafalgar Group about the Missouri primary that you might want to check out. You can go to the trafalgargroup.com. So after that, I have to skip out of here. I'm going to go speak to a classroom of college freshmen about being a public opinion leader or something. I should probably get that down.
What am I and why am I here? I don't know.
My opinion is why I'm here isn't important.
It's something about being a thought leader. But, you know, like, there's so many different terms for it. I'm going to try to blow these kids' minds. And the whole time I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking back to when I was in college. If there's a guest speaker and you're like, please do not take the whole time.
Right. Is it a big class?
I have no idea.
You don't know.
I don't think it is. I think it's maybe 18 kids.
Okay.
I'm gonna
wait for tomorrow.
I'm gonna win their support by letting them out early. Don't tell John Shimkus.
Okay.
All right. You guys, when we come back, don't go away.
This is Wiggins. One of the nicest things about Fountains Family Dentistry is that they do everything. It's a one-stop shop for all that you do. I remember when I was getting braces when I was in high school, I had to go to an orthodontist who did braces, who was separate from my dentist. Not the case now, especially at Fountains Family Dentistry. You don't have to drive all over the place, get referred to several places. You can get clear braces there, which, man, I wish that existed when I was younger. I look back at all my pictures in high school, and I probably had braces later than I even should have because I was a sophomore, junior in high school, and I was still wearing braces. And I think, man, I looked like such a kid. Well, Fountains Family Dentistry can take care of you from the small stuff, just getting your teeth cleaned every 6 months to a year like you should be doing. That's sort of the basic maintenance, but also things like dental implants, clear braces that I'm talking about right now. They do all of that, sleep dentistry, clear braces. It's a one-stop shop, and you can just make it your home for all things dental. Very, very easy. Fountains Family Dentistry in Fairview Heights, Illinois, fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear from home title thieves. But if you own a home and you don't guard it with Home Title Lock, you're inviting home title fraud, one of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know U.S. home values are sky high, and they paint a target on us. The crime is scary simple. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. Now he's on the deed to your home, and you have no idea you're a victim. Then he takes out loans on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Lock puts a virtual barrier around your home's title. The instant they detect tampering, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, guard it with your life. Go to gettitlelock.com and register your address to see if you're already a victim. And enter radio for 30 days of free protection. That's code radio at gettitlelock.com.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
The president's first in line, Lisa Brady, Fox News, showing support for a newly approved second COVID booster shot by getting one himself.
We know boosters are critical to providing an additional level of protection.
This as he launched a new website, covid.gov, and pressed lawmakers for more.
The president is also urging Congress to act quickly to approve more COVID funding before money for therapeutics and vaccines runs out.
Even worse, if we need a different vaccine for the future to combat a new variant, we're not going to have enough money to purchase it. We cannot allow that to happen.
Republicans in Congress have insisted any new COVID funding be fully paid for.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Intelligence officials don't think the Russian president is getting the full story from advisors about what's happening in Ukraine. A U.S. official telling Fox they believe President Putin's being misinformed because senior advisors are too afraid to tell him the truth. The White House and the Pentagon citing similar information moments ago and earlier.
One of the Achilles heels of autocracies is that you don't have people in those systems who speak truth to power or who have the ability to speak truth to power. And I think that is something that we're seeing in Russia.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken at the U.S. Embassy in Algeria. The White House says if the asylum limit known as Title 42 is lifted, it will lead to an influx at the southern border. But they continue to defer to the CDC on that. Even with that limit, a migrant surge continues.
1 million illegal crossings in just 6 months. That puts us well on pace to shatter every border crossing record since they started keeping records in the first place more than 60 years ago. And it happens in broad daylight, right in front of us, right in front of Border Patrol, right in front of the Texas National Guard. Migrants just walking across the river and illegally entering the state of Texas.
Fox's Bill Maloogian in Eagle Pass. The Title 42 asylum limit was put in place to help prevent the spread of COVID. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
Americans don't trust big media. The source you can trust is Newsmax. Find it on all major cable systems or download the free Newsmax app on your phone. Millions are watching Newsmax and the Newsmax team with Rob Finnerty, Eric Bowling, Sean Spicer and Lindsey Keith, Greg Kelly, Stinchfield and Rob Schmidt. Plus weekends with Huckabee, Diamond and Silk, Gorka and Wendy Bell. 20 million people have made the switch to Newsmax. Try it. You may never go back.
Air Comfort Service heating and cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Strong gusty winds continue this afternoon. Winds from the northwest. Some of the gusts 40 to 45. Still some showers around. A couple of strong thunderstorms here and there. Temperatures now falling through the 60s. It's colder tonight. Gusty winds, some showers. 40 degrees. A wet snowflake towards morning. Thursday, windy and chilly to be out and about. 49, but it feels colder. Down to 32 with a light freeze Thursday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Marc Cox here. There's a lot on the line for the April 5th election. My 2022 School Board Election Voters Guide is available now at 971talk.com. Arm yourself with information to make the right choice for you and your family. Listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show Monday through Friday, 5 to 9 a.m. to hear candidate interviews leading up to Tuesday's election. My Voters Guide and past interviews are available right now at 971talk.com.
Home title theft. That's the identity fraud you really need to worry about. Why? Because home title theft is on the rise. It's devastating, and you can even get evicted from your home. Look, credit card and bank identity thefts are a nuisance. But if a thief gets your credit card, the card company handles it. And the same with your bank account. Your bank covers it. But when a cyber thief forges his name onto your home's title, he can take over your home and even have you evicted. That's why you should protect the legal title to your home with Home Title Lock, America's leader in home title protection. The instant they detect a foreign or domestic cyber thief tampering with your home's title, they mobilize their U.S.-based experts to help shut it down. Protect your most valuable asset. Go to gettitlelock.com and register your address to see if you're already a victim. And use promo code RADIO for 30 free days of protection. Again, that's gettitlelock.com. Promo code RADIO.
Our national debt is now over $30 trillion, an increase of over 20% in just the past 2 years. I'm sure you've been told at some point that taxes will be lower when you retire, but do you truly believe that? Now is the time to begin planning for the future of tax increases. Is your financial advisor helping you with tax planning for a tax-efficient future? If not, this is the time to call me, Ken Heisey, at Heisey Advisory Group. 314-328-6000. If you're like most people, you have a portfolio of investments, but a portfolio is not a plan. How have you planned for the potential legislative risk of increased taxes? Call Heisey Advisory Group now and let us help you create a plan to reduce the tax risk in your retirement. 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through A Wealth Management, LLC.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health from Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health from Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill, or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. The all-in-one hiring platform helps you schedule and conduct video interviews right from your employer dashboard. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
With Odyssey music stations, there's a different station for every taste, and they're all free. Listen to 97.1 live on your phone, or browse the selection of music stations and make a soundtrack to your workday. It's all at Odyssey.com. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, Riverviews, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I'm talking about this Missouri primary race here because there's some really interesting polling data that has come out from the Trafalgar Group. And to discuss it with us here, we have the chief pollster there at the Trafalgar Group, Robert C. Cahaley. Robert, thank you for joining us here on the Annie Frey Show. A true pleasure to have you here with us.
Thanks for inviting me. It's quite a race, and it's a fun one to talk about. So.
You know what? I live across the river here in St. Louis in Illinois, so we don't really have many conversations about Senate races because those are pretty secure by the Democrats who hold them. But there is quite a group of Republicans now running for that seat being vacated by Roy Blunt. And you did on the Trafalgar Group, and people can go look at this report right now at thetrafalgargroup.org to see the information that we're going to talk about here with Robert. But you did a head-to-head with the Democrat candidates that are in the race. And I think it came up with some really cool information for people to know. And I'd love to hear your take on it.
So let's talk first about the general election. What we found in the general election is of the top three candidates, and those will be Greitens, Schmidt, and Hartzler. Greitens is in a real dogfight versus either Democrat in the general election within 1 point, above or behind, and both Schmidt and Hartzler win pretty sizably in excess of 5 points versus either Democrat. So there's one. Greitens would have a competitive race, and the other two have a pretty sizable advantage at this point. And of course, once someone gets named, either side will test that again, but that's kind of where it shapes up as far as the general election. Now, a lot has happened since the last time we polled the opponent poll in the primary. Most of that has been obviously the senator's endorsement in the race. Senator Hawley having endorsed, I believe, the Congresswoman Hartzler.
Yep.
And also some scandal, some more scandal-related material that's come out related to Greitens. And in addition, the controversy that surrounded Congresswoman Hartzler's transgender and women's sports ad. So I can tell you those things all coming out have devolved this race to where the top three are extremely close. You expect to see some significant movement since the last poll. The Congresswoman is significantly up, and it's within a few points from first to third now.
Wow.
Which is very tight.
Yes.
Big move.
I appreciate that because you poll all sorts of things. This is not like a local Missouri polling group that your key focus is here.
Polling every major race in the country. So every major governor and U.S. Senate race in the country, we will be doing. Those who've been following us for a while know we have the lowest margin of error, cumulative margin error error rate, not just margin of error, since the 2016 election. The only national polling company at under 3 error rate and under 3 margin of error. So, and just most recently in Virginia, we were 1.2 away from predicting, 0.2 away from the actual winner, 0.2 of a point, getting the margin of victory correct in the Virginia governor's race, and 1.3 away in New Jersey. So we have the number one poll in both states again. So we can pay attention to this stuff. We have a lot of members that in our group that want to know what's really going to happen. They kind of come to us for not so much a agenda-driven look, which so many polling companies provide, not even a partisan look, a cold, hard truth look.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we feel like the race is. We don't really play any favorites in this stuff. It's just what we see.
You know, I love how you're presenting this because Ryan Wiggins, who is part of the show, he's not in here right now. He loves polls and he loves to bring polls to the show and talk about them. And I very regularly don't love polls because kind of to what you're saying is there's so many entities out there that will poll something for the purpose of pushing an agenda. So you figure out what the outcome that you need to be able to prove to people, and then you go shopping for the poll that makes you feel good about your position. What do you do? What's the process behind the Trafalgar Group that separates what you, Robert Cahaly, do versus these other places that might be a little more purpose-driven towards a political end?
Well, first of all, we don't really come at it, like I said, with an agenda. Whether it's media polls that are pushing the agenda of either the ideologues that are in their newsroom or the corporations that fund their newsrooms, they have an agenda. Most of the polls that come from, partisan companies that represent campaigns, they have an agenda to make their candidates look good. And so you always have to ask the questions. People are like, well, you should trust the polls from the schools. When's the last time that you thought of a college in America not having a political agenda? Of course they do.
Right.
Imagine how outraged they would be if the polls did due diligence for a certain political perspective. So that's first. We don't bring an agenda to it. Second, we do things very different. We're industry disruptor. We reject most of polling orthodoxy. You'll never see us present a poll for a state with under 1,000. So you see all this, what I call nonsense. These polls, 500 or 600 people can tell you what the millions of people in the state of Missouri think. That's ridiculous to us. Every poll we have, every state, every time, over 1,000. Also, we don't believe in long questionnaires because what I know when you're trying to poll a horse race ballot test, something of like the head-to-head of the candidates, you've got to get everybody to participate because some of those people who are not deep in their political involvement, deep in their political understanding, deep in political information, are the kind of people who aren't going to take 25-question poll. The most common question we get is, how long is this going to take? People have lives. They got stuff to do. So if you can tell them, hey, we're going to be done in 3 minutes. We're going to ask you 4 questions. They'll hang on. But if you tell them some kind of nonsense of this 35 questions, what I say is you always get people who care too much. People on the extreme right, extreme left,
or
worse yet, people who have nothing better to do.
Yeah, it's not a good representation of America, a good cross-section. It reminds me of when I took my ACT in science, which is my least favorite subject, was at the end, and I was just kind of over it by then. I just was like filling in circles. We're speaking with Robert C. Cahaly, the chief pollster at the Trafalgar Group. You definitely need to go to the TrafalgarGroup.com to see the work that they are doing on a whole host, .org. You're exactly right, the TrafalgarGroup.org. If you don't mind, I want to ask you real quick about one other report that you have on there that I was reading through, and it's about the Biden family and the perception that the family has some sort of conflict. What did you learn through your polling on this particular issue?
Well, there are a lot of things people feel about Biden, but now that everything has come out with the laptop and everything else, that what we found around the country is the revelations that have come out lead people to believe that whether it's Ukraine, China, or even some other things, there's some real family conflict. People don't know what the conflict is necessarily, but they pretty much feel like they haven't gotten the whole truth, and they wonder, is there a conflict guiding some of the decisions being made, or limit the responses and how things are being dealt with. It's the unknown. You know how they always joke that what the stock market fears is the unknown, not if there's something on the verge of something, when it happens one way or the other, they're fine. It's just the unknown makes people nervous. That's true of everybody, and people don't like what they don't know. It's almost like if they came clean of what conflicts they did or didn't have, it wouldn't be a conflict anymore.
And in the way that I'm looking through the report here on the Biden family conflict question, it is interesting to me that 1 in 4 Democrats that were polled do consider the conflict to be of an issue, with over 12% saying they're not sure. So just 62% of Democrats say no, that it isn't an issue.
Well, and what I've noticed about that margin is that was right along the same margin of people that affiliated with Democrats who said, had they known that the stuff about the Hunter laptop was real, it might have affected their vote in 2020. This is not a partisan. It is not completely partisan. Some of this distrust and dislike. We see it all the time. We put out something, we talk about the generic ballot, what people are saying they're going to vote in 2022, and they'll say, well, hey, how in the world, it could be 12% or 13% or 11%. How is this possible? That many people become Republicans. I'm like, no, the Republicans vote the generic ballot, but it's not because people are becoming Republicans. It's because they don't like what they're seeing out of the Democrats. They are Democrats. They just don't like, you've been at a casino all night, and every time you keep playing red, you're losing. And you say, man, I really like playing red, but I'm going to play black for a while and just, what have I got to lose? Let me see what happens.
It's a great.
There are Democrats who are saying, I'm going to vote Republican, see what I got to lose. And so what I would tell the Republicans is, they may vote for you in 2022. Can you earn their vote after that?
Sure. Yeah. They got to be encouraged to vote for something, not just against something. Robert Cahaly, a true pleasure to speak with you. I'm going to be looking for that. You said the next Missouri poll you have coming out is in the primary. That's awesome.
We're going to have a new poll in the primary. It's going to show a very tight race with the top 3. It's tightened up a lot. A lot of things have been happening in this thing.
Well, if you don't mind, we're going to reconnect with you on that and get your updated thoughts on it, because certainly here in St. Louis, a lot of interested parties. We've talked with a majority of the candidates on this show, and we are interested in how this primary race goes, but certainly also the general in November. And your polls are going to be a key part of keeping us guided throughout the process. Robert, thank you. A true pleasure to have you here with us today.
Absolutely.
All right.
Great job.
We'll do it again. Bye-bye.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. .1 is St. Louis's radio destination for information with perspective. It's where St. Louis and beyond comes to talk. Right here, right now. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Hi, this is Tracy with Acropolis. The next 60 seconds is probably going to go one of two ways. You'll tune me out like most commercials, or you're going to share my concern and review your insurance policy. If you have cyber coverage, you have a questionnaire that you complete every year, and it has some of these questions on it. Here are 3 easy ones. 1, does your IT department require your users to have 2-factor authentication? 2, are there email headers alerting your staff that the message came in from outside your company? 3, are the employees educated on how to spot and what to do if they receive what looks like a phishing email? Here's the takeaway directly from the director of the largest cyber insurance company in the country. And I quote, "If it becomes clear that we care more about their cyber risk than the company we are considering insuring, we just won't write them a policy anymore." I know IT isn't how most of you want to spend your day, but from one business owner to another, you need to feel comfortable that you have the correct cyber insurance in place now more than ever. If you aren't satisfied with what you find, we can help. Visit us on the web at acropolistech.com. That's acropolistech.com. Protect, optimize, grow. We are Acropolis Technology Group.
Find podcasts for your passions on Odyssey.
Like the documentary series Love Thy Neighbor about the 1991 Crown Heights riots.
It was an accident which other people used as an excuse to murder one member of our community.
Or The 11th.
Bringing you true, unexpected stories.
And experience the new podcast movie thriller Ghostwriter.
Starring Kate Mara and Adam Scott.
Maybe it's not a whodunit. If we know who the killer is all along, the real mystery is why.
Find all the podcasts that matter to you in a universe of audio.
Odyssey.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. When it comes to your tax issues, why would you trust some faceless national company that uses cartoons in its ads to protect you? Tax problems are not funny and should not be treated lightly. If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue and you need a lawyer that will protect your rights. You can't meet face-to-face with a cartoon. And what happens if the national company can't resolve your issue and stops returning calls? Do yourself a favor and call the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. I am a local attorney specializing in tax resolution. You can come in and sit down with a licensed, experienced attorney and put a name with a face. When it comes to tax issues, don't go with a cartoon. Get serious help with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, D-R-U-R-Y law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Home warranty. I know, right? Buying coverage for appliances, your heater and AC, etc., from a company that hopes you never ever have a claim or call. Let me introduce you to a real home warranty company, the kind that actually wants to help you. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. Upkeep visit your home 4 times a year to maintain your appliances and equipment. You will never get a lack of maintenance denial because Upkeep does the maintenance. Also nice, Upkeep assigns you one point person to help you. You won't be passed around like an office hot potato, and you won't get subcontractors. Upkeep does all their work, so there's no blame game. Just experts helping you. Visit upkeepstl.com today and type in 971 for $100 off. Don't be denied. Instead, be relieved. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance, 636-387-7331.
Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep, and you'll have a happy home.
Hi, this is Curtis Barks. I am the owner of Complete Auto Body and Repair, here to tell you about our touchless automotive service. If you're experiencing the constant struggles of having the kids home from school or just want more of that family time where you can listen to them teach you about what they do every day, we provide touchless automotive service, return the vehicle to you clean and ready to go in the comfort of your own home. Check us out online at CompleteAB.com for more information. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the car.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
This is what a woman loves.
Here's how much I don't like Shania Twain. Just
I don't
for
believe
clarity. That's Shania Twain, and I didn't know it until I asked you guys, and you confirmed that it was. Is that Man I Feel Like a Woman?
No.
So the different song that she opens talking about feeling like a woman, though.
There's a different song.
Yeah.
Okay.
I put that in there for you.
Well, thank you very much. I said one day that I like whatever that song is. I can't remember the name of now.
Still the one?
Still the one. That's how much I like Shania Twain, that I like that song enough to not remember the name of it.
Said a little more than that.
I did. Okay, I did. I really like the song, but now it's a thing. And that's fine because it's either going to be Shania Twain or Taylor Swift. Apparently, there were Taylor Swift shirts out in the lobby today.
Yes, there were.
And Trisha picked one up for me. And she said, here's a Taylor
awesome.
Swift shirt. And I didn't know that it was Taylor Swift. That's how big of a fan of hers I am. Thanks for coming in, Trisha. By the way, this is the Annie Frey Show. I'm Ryan Wiggins. Brad Range is hosting this hour.
Well, I'm not hosting, but I'm in the host chair. So
Brad Range is hosting. Trisha just walked in. Hannah is here. We've kind of taken over for Annie for the rest of the hour. We're going to do some signs of the apocalypse coming up. Let's talk really quick, though, about what Trafalgar just said. And there are 15 ways to pronounce his name. So it's either Trafalgar or Trafalgar or Calahay or Kalahi is his last name. His first name's Robert. I know that. So we'll call him Robert. Great interview because I really, really love, as she said in the interview, I love polls. And she said that to him. And I felt very honored by that because he is at the top of the heap. So if you look at accuracy of pollsters, it's weird because I don't know why I love this so much. I think it's because it's a form of predicting the future. It's not totally accurate, but the people who are the most accurate, you can kind of say, well, these people are predicting what's going to happen. So it's almost like they're these magicians, but they're statistical magicians because they're so good, the ones that are really good at it, of figuring out what the electorate looks like. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the ones that are really good at it are good at it because that's what they're actually trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that in there, that you got some polls that are, I've always seen polls as a persuasion tool, not a predictive tool. So people commission polls to show things that they want to show. A candidate commissions a poll. It's going to show that that candidate's doing well, which if I'm a candidate, I actually want an honest poll because I want to know where do I need to be better. And if I'm like, I don't want to get there on election night and be like, I thought I was up 20 points and I lost.
I don't know. A lot of it's about fundraising and showing those polls to your fundraisers.
That's true.
And that's what they do. And that's okay because that's internal. But then a lot of them that we talk about, I'm looking at just the last few because Real Clear Politics does a great amalgamation of all of them that are happening at any given moment. Economist and YouGov are on there. Politico is on there. Rasmussen is on there. Politico again. And Quinnipiac. Harvard is on there. I mean, there are polls. Basically, every major media outlet and institution have polls, and a lot of them even team up. Most of them are very, very far off. I mean, NBC's on here too. NBC, I think the week before the 2016 election, had Hillary Clinton winning by 16 points.
It was something ridiculous like that.
It's embarrassingly bad.
Yes.
It was really bad. And yet everybody's, NBC says that President Biden's doing pretty well right now. And people quote it like, come on, man, just look at what you've had a track record for. That's why Trafalgar is so good. So he mentioned in that interview, which he did yesterday, that there was a new poll coming out from them today about the Missouri primary. And that poll is out.
Do you have them?
I do. I have the results right here. Digging into them a little bit, what's surprising to me is that, okay, we'll start at the top. We'll start at the top.
Okay.
That's a good place to start.
Does anybody want to guess? And this is entirely within the last 6 days. So on Thursday, I think is when the Greitens news story broke, which honestly is not really news. It's more like bringing up the same past news,
right?
But it's in the middle of a primary, so it could affect things. So this poll is done entirely within that time frame, which everybody thought, well, how's it going to turn out? Accurate poller. Let's find out. Top of the heap. Anybody want to guess who
Eric
it is?
Schmidt.
Good guess.
Top of the heap on the new one.
Who's winning?
Yeah, I've got Schmidt winning.
You, Trisha?
I think it is Schmidt. Is that why did we all hear that? Is that why?
I don't think that
want
you
it to be
did
Schmidt.
because
That's
it's
why I'm
not
saying
Schmidt.
that.
Schmidt is not winning in this poll.
Is it Greitens still, but only by barely? Has the margin narrowed quite a bit?
There's truth to that. It is barely. Greitens is barely beating Eric Schmidt. You know who's beating both of them now?
Is it Hartzler?
Vicky Hartzler.
Wow.
Vicky Hartzler. But what he said in that interview is very true. It's very tight. And so if there's been any change, it's that Greitens may have. See, this is the thing. If you look at other polls, Greitens was about 3-4 points ahead of both Schmidt and Hartzler. Schmidt was probably a point or two ahead of Hartzler. But Trafalgar's, I don't think, have really changed that much. So if you look at just theirs and over the last several months, or since we've had these candidates anyway, their polling has been pretty consistent, which means that this quote unquote scandal hasn't really affected Greitens that much, maybe a point or two, but not a whole lot.
That's interesting.
But that might be enough because we're talking about a really tight race.
Yeah. And that kind of makes sense to me. I think the Greitens people are Greitens people. They're going to be dyed in the wool Eric Greitens. It's going to take a lot to get them to abandon him.
Yeah, I agree. Especially when this, as far as I understand it, it's not really new information.
Right.
You know, this is stuff that he is claiming is actually coming from Washington to take him down, which do you believe or not?
That it's coming from Washington?
Yeah. I mean, he says specifically McConnell and Karl Rove.
I have my doubts that like they're shaking in their boots, worrying about Eric Greitens coming in and like, is Eric Greitens going to have enough clout in Washington to completely overturn the apple cart? I struggle to think that, but maybe.
I do believe him. I think that, I mean, I don't know, but I could see Senate leadership viewing him as enough of a threat to try to take him down just because of polling, just because of what pollsters like Trafalgar say about the general, not the primary.
Election. So this makes sense.
Yeah, because if he is the least likely to win, according to accurate polls like his, then they would say, well, then let's try to make sure we stack the deck for somebody else. Now, I don't know that means that they absolutely did it, but there seems to be plenty of motive there for them to do it. Everybody's shaking their heads, so we must be honest.
I mean, makes sense. That at least makes sense to me.
So yeah, that's the results of this poll. Hartzler 25, Greitens 24, Schmidt 22. So very, very tight at the top.
Wow.
There's a dark horse in there though. Billy Long. Yeah. I mean, if I can't see him winning right now unless something like Donald Trump comes along and endorses him. If that were to happen, it would really shake things up.
Well, who does that poll voters away from? Like if Donald Trump comes in, which candidate does that pull those voters away from?
All of them.
Yeah, I think all of them.
You think there's Trump voters
I think
spread
they're
out?
all trying for that endorsement.
I do too.
I think that it's probably, and I don't want to pick a favorite because I have reasons to think they'd all be really good at this position.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's probably the hope in the Hartzler camp with the Hawley endorsement that Trump will get on board and that Trump will think, okay, we're all getting behind this candidate. Whereas Billy Long's holding out for that Trump endorsement, just like they all are. And then Greitens early on was kind of acting like he already had it a little bit. So it'll be very interesting. But it seems like with Hawley backing Hartzler that they're hoping everybody will coalesce, and that divide will be very interesting to see.
Let's keep talking about polls and move to our own poll, which Hannah, we talked about it right before Annie stepped out of the studio. The poll is, who do you think? Well, you go ahead. You share it. You've got it right in front of you.
So our YouTube poll asks, who is the most unlikable after the Oscars slap? The options are Chris Rock, Will Smith, Jada Smith, or the Academy. I was a little surprised with these results. 45% of you said Will Smith. 33% said Jada Smith, 20% said the Academy, and 3% said Chris Rock. And these results have been changing because all day Jada Smith was winning, and it just changed to Will Smith. So that's interesting.
So Will Smith is the most likable from that event, which we all disagreed with. We all said
the most unlikable.
Sorry, most dislikable.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Chris Rock is the most likable.
And so we heard earlier that Brad and Ryan and Annie think Jada was the most unlikable. And I voted Will Smith, but after hearing you guys talk, I think I'm thinking Jada.
Maybe persuade you. What do you think, Trisha?
I think Will Smith was wrong to do it. I think out of all the actors and like air quotes of this whole debacle, I think Jada's the least likable human, maybe.
Yeah,
I think Will Smith has a lot of credibility in his craft, and I want him to succeed and do better. So yeah, I guess I picked Jada.
Okay.
Why are we? Honest question, because I am too. I'm not saying like, oh, we're better than this, because I'm not. I've watched the thing 20 times. Why are we so consumed with it? Why is it so interesting? I mean, normally the Oscars happen on a Sunday night. If they get talked about at all, it's for a morning. And then everybody moves on. But this is going to be something that people remember for a pretty long time. Why is it so fascinating?
I think it's because you have a celebrity assaulting another celebrity on national TV.
On a huge platform.
Like in tuxedos, walked up and slugged the dude.
I also think that when I watched it, like so many people, I thought this is fake. This is set up, right? Like they're doing.
That was my
time I
first
did.
reaction.
They're doing a bit. There's no way this isn't real.
Yeah.
So the fact that somebody being Will Smith, snapped to the point where he assaulted a colleague, that's a big deal to see on TV. That is historic. That's Janet Jackson Super Bowl historic.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
historic.
I mean, that was year 2000, I think it was, and we're still talking about that. This
Because
is
it's
one
that
of
big
those.
it's that big of a shock that kind of slip, if you will, could happen.
Yeah. Doesn't it say something about, I hate projecting all these things onto it because we're going to do that forever too. But doesn't it say something about when you watch it, don't you put yourself in that and go, man, I've snapped before. I've done, but I wouldn't do that. You know, like you cast judgment at the same time and going, well, it reveals a little bit about yourself, but where's my line? You know,
right?
What would it take to get me to get up and do something that extreme?
To get up to do that extreme, or what if you were Chris Rock? You know, I've spent a lot of time putting myself in his shoes. How would I respond to that?
I thought he responded. I'm sorry, nobody asked, but like a true professional.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Made a joke, rolled off, like he acknowledged the gravity of it and was like, "Whoa, guys, you just witnessed
He also
history."
took the physical hit so well. I would have been like on the ground, crying, screaming. He handled that so well. So some of our listeners have made comments on the live stream. Amy from YouTube says it's a tie between Jada herself and the Academy for giving him a standing ovation when he won.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
What the heck? Was that the Academy? That was
Well, that's
the
the audience.
room, right?
The room,
Yeah.
Brian from YouTube says Will Smith, he has unresolved issues with Chris Rock and he should have taken care of them in private, not in front of the entire world. I agree with that as well.
It would have been less entertaining for us, though.
I know.
Had they just settled that.
I know.
Joe from
In a
YouTube
text.
says all of them. We've gotten just a ton of comments all across the board. I haven't heard anybody say anything about Chris Rock. 3% of our poll did vote for him, but they didn't leave a comment. So,
You know, the
that's
thing
that.
that made me think the most that it was real, I posted on Twitter last night, and it's like, at what point are deep fakes, and what point? I can't tell anymore. They're so good at them. But somebody posted something on Twitter last night. There was a zoomed in shot. Did you see this? You know what I'm
I've
talking
seen
about?
something about it.
So they took a regular snapshot, the one you've already seen, and they zoom all the way in. And I don't know how they made it so. It was like one of those movies where they're zooming in on a spot and they go enhance, and just instantly it gets better, and you're like, you can't do that. But it's zoomed in that much, and I don't know if they clarified the pixelation of it a little bit because they had to zoom in so much. And it looks like a little thing under Chris Rock's eye that would indicate there's some sort of pad there. And it's the same color as his skin, so it's very, very hard to see. But you can see something unless it's fake, which it absolutely could be that somebody created that as a fake. The one thing to me, before we wrap up here and get to Signs of the Apocalypse, that I thought, I don't think it is because A, I don't think the Smiths come out looking good at all, and they would have to agree to that. But B, Chris Rock didn't have a good joke afterwards.
No.
And you'd think if they planned that, he would have some sort of witty, quick comeback. And he just didn't.
Right.
He said, wow, I just got to slap the blank out of me. And he just kind of stood there. He's like, all right.
He said, I could wow. You could hear him like gathering himself. And then even when he went on, when he moved on, you could hear he was still flustered because he misspoke, right? He said, we're going to give away an award for a document. That's really hard to fake if it's planned. So
it was hard to watch, like him like not even know what to say. I was like cringing watching that. I was like,
I know. Everything about it. It's never going away. It's a new Janet Jackson one. Well, this is the Annie Frey Show. I'm Ryan Wiggins, but I'm not hosting. Brad Range is in the host chair. So anything that happens, you have to blame on him.
You can blame me.
And he is going to come back with Signs of the Apocalypse. Next, it's the Annie Frey Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Even when I'm ugly, still better love me.
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
Scott Pyro, Fox and Friends first. I haven't dived into Albert Pujols' stats as much as I probably should have for this hit, knowing how he hits left-handed pitching. But congrats on that.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
Attention investors. How would you like to collect a government-backed check with secure double-digit returns in as little as 21 days? The tax lien code is going to expose the best-kept secret in real estate investing in a free 20-minute Kickstart video. Text the word INVEST to 26022 now and let their free video show you how to earn government-backed returns up to 25% with as little as $50, or how to invest in tax-delinquent homes that are 50% off market. Plus, see how you can access private tax lien inventory not available to the public. So if you want to become a real estate investor that buys tax liens from the comfort of your own home, then text INVEST to 26022 now and get your free Kickstart video. Text INVEST 26022 right now and you'll get free tickets to attend a live training in the St. Louis area that will include your VIP tax lien bidder number, a power bank charger, and a tax lien investor kit free to all attendees. So text INVEST to 26022. That's INVEST to 26022 for your free Kickstart video.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Pineview Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free, plus a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Pineview Medical now to qualify. 314-530-7777.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
The Fed has raised rates.
But there's still time to lock in Golden Oak Lending's low 3.25% rate.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. With home values at all-time highs and our low rates, you can pull more cash out of your home.
Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
NMLS 114937, 3.25% fixed, 4.361% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Find the car you want, new or used. Get it at Clement, get pre-approved. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. ClementAutoGroup.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Up to the minute traffic reports, so you don't have to keep looking at your phone. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
This is a really good song to run to. It's got a very good beat
good
and
tempo.
it pushes you. I am not Annie Frey. I am Ryan Wiggins. Brad Range is filling in for Annie Frey today.
I'm in the big chair.
In the big chair, which doesn't matter when you're listening because you don't know. Hannah's in here. Trish is in here. We're going to do Signs of the Apocalypse in just a second. I did see the story pop up, though. Donald Trump did an interview.
Don't you scoop my signs.
If this is in there, I'll be surprised.
Okay, go ahead.
he did an interview last night, number 45 did, with Real America's Voice. Just the News reporting on it, that he kind of laid out a second term policy agenda in that interview, which we've been talking about a lot, that he's only looking backwards so far and he's not looking forward enough of how he would solve these things. I was looking through it though. It's not really a lot of news. It's funny because he blasts everybody and he really blasts Mitch McConnell. So if they're going to work together again, that's going to be a little messy. But he said, fighting inflation, starting with energy production, that is a solution. Withholding foreign aid until countries take back their illegal immigrants is part of that. Election integrity modeled after Florida and Texas, stabilizing the world and a NATO in response mainly to China. He doesn't even mention Russia there. Well, he does mention Russia, but as the headline, he doesn't. And talking about free speech a lot and the internet and probably Section 203 stuff he goes into. So that was very interesting. But at the end of it, at the end of laying out a second term policy agenda, he also says, but I don't really know if I'm going to run again yet.
Oh my.
So he says, I'm going to wait until after the midterms to decide. He quote, I want to look at what's happening. And then we're going to be doing something else, whatever that is. So we'll see. I guess we still don't know for sure. But man, it sure sounds like, especially when he's doing all these rallies and stuff. So with that, let's do Signs of the Apocalypse.
Signs of the Apocalypse on the Annie Frey Show.
Okay, so the first story that we have here is Procter & Gamble apologizes after sparking outrage with social media post claiming women's feet smell, quote, 5 times worse than men's.
Was there real
What?
date? No, hang on.
That's outrageous.
That's what you're supposed to say.
It's true, though.
Now let's dig into the science.
All right, Ryan.
Did they back it up?
Well, looking at the bullet points here, it says the original post was shared on the Chinese platform WeChat and it has been slammed by social media users and it has been deleted.
Wait, this was shared only by Procter & Gamble in China?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they know.
Okay.
They know.
So,
but it was deleted, but it was meant to promote this line of fragrant body care products. So I'm not. Yeah.
Backfire.
Yeah, a little bit.
That sounds like a YouTube poll. If we had to poll people, ask
That does not sound like a YouTube
which
poll.
gender, assuming there are genders.
Right, Ryan. This sounds like a great YouTube poll.
This is a Wiggins America poll, not an Annie Fry show poll.
I would think that guys would win that because aren't guys'
For
feet just
sure.
sweatier in general?
You would
just
think that.
gross.
So
Just,
I don't know that.
Okay.
I've got to open another one here
Fake news.
the
Yeah,
fake
fake
news.
news.
Okay. The Google Chrome is running a little slow today. So the next one that I have is this. This says that a rogue Georgia cop caught in a viral X-rated TikTok. So apparently, a cop thought no one was watching when he took his squad car to a scrubby area off a quiet road in small town Georgia, walked around the back.
Wait,
I
what?
don't want to hear anymore.
And started having relations with someone while in uniform, but there was somebody up on a power pole next to it, and they started filming it and they put it on TikTok.
Whoa! So he walked to the back of the car thinking that the dash cam wouldn't have him on it, but somebody was just recording it randomly.
Right.
Whoops.
You know what? There was a time. This was before police were really like a controversial subject at all.
I thought you were going to say a thing. I was
No,
like,
this is before police. Police didn't even exist. This was back in 2015.
Ryan is the oldest.
I got pulled over on 255 here, and I was riding with a couple of friends. So he was in the front seat, and his wife was in the other front seat. Me and my other friend were in the back. I think we were going to get something to eat before I had kids, and I could do such things. And we were driving, and we got pulled over, and the cop was acting really like he was almost like he was showing off for the camera, and he had a second police car pull up behind him. He took my friend out of the car and started pointing at him for the camera and was doing it. And we can't see. We're just sitting in the car. We're looking back going, man, he's getting chewed out,
Yeah.
And he's going like this, but we can't see what he's saying. He gets back. My friend gets back in the car. We're like, what did he say? What did he give you a ticket? He goes, there was no ticket. I'm going to start driving now. And when I gather myself, I'm going to tell you what just happened. So we're sitting there in silence, waiting for him to just calm down because I guess he was so amped up. He goes, the guy told me as we were walking back, he goes, I have a bet with the police officer behind me that I that I wouldn't like point my finger at somebody today. So I'm going to, in front of the car, point my finger at you and act like I'm mad at you. And you're just going to say yes. Is that okay? And he was like, yes. So it was, I mean, it was just fun. And it was before it was all, that would never happen
The
today.
plot of Super Troopers.
Yeah, exactly. It probably was like a similar bet.
How many times can you say meow?
Yeah.
No butts, meow.
Right.
All right. This one right here. It says a dark shape in Michigan brush sparks a bear report. Closer look reveals something else. What do you guys think it was? Here.
Looks like a bear.
Let me set it up for you. So a Michigan homeowner believed that there was a bear standing in her front yard when she called for help. Officials say, but a closer look revealed something else. She reported a dark shape in the bush of her yard that had been there for several hours, according to a late February report from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. So the conservation police showed up and they investigated. What do you think it was?
Trash bag?
Yes.
Really?
Trash bag.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yes.
She stole it. Yeah, it was a trash bag. So the conservation officer got close enough and to tell the bear was a large black trash bag, and he pulled the trash bag from the brush and gave it to the homeowner who went to show her family the bear.
I thought it was going to be one of those Bigfoot silhouettes. You know how you're driving and all of a sudden you're like,
the Jacks,
whoa, like that just came out of nowhere.
the ones from gas stations, the Jacks Links ones. Somebody stole one.
Have you ever been
They
in
make
that?
them in like a wrought iron.
Do
and
they?
and they
wow.
put them up. Yeah, you should see these when you go visit family in Freeburg. They put them. You see them a lot in rural communities. They put them up on the edge
That's
of
awesome.
fields or next to a tree or something, and
Like
then you're
scarecrows?
yes, but it's a silhouette of Bigfoot walking.
More
just
scary.
just to mess with people.
But it's not for any purpose other than just to mess with people.
I believe
That
I,
or decoration.
I don't know. I don't.
Maybe
have the
they
answer to
have a
that. I
deeper
know that they
symbol.
mess with me.
They mess with me. Oh man. Okay. Any of you guys Pokemon fans?
My kids are way into
Way
it.
into it.
But I love one.
Well, I'm waiting for this to
Very
load.
close to a
So,
Pokemon fan.
So in 1999, they made this Pokemon card, and it just sold for $420,000 at an auction.
Was it Charizard?
It was a Charizard.
Yep.
And there are
Boom.
but here's the thing: there are 120 others just like it.
Yeah, I saw that.
So why is it that Pokemon cards? Okay,
Is it possible I have one of them in a box in my basement?
did you have Pokemon cards?
Yeah, somebody I love had Pokemon cards
I
in a
mean,
box in my basement.
How much time are you willing to spend to look through them to see if maybe you got $420,000 card? Zero time. So I don't know if it's in there or not. I mean, if there's if there are only 120 or so made, or 100, so it's one of 121 to be given a mint 10 status, meaning it's in brand new condition. So just even if your friend or cousin or whoever it was,
No, it's Eddie.
Eddie. Okay.
Do you know
Yeah,
anything
I'll say.
about gameplay? Are the ones that are tinned, are they worth more, not just monetarily, but in the game?
Ryan, I have no idea, because in 1999 I was far into high school.
I was too.
And
that's why I don't know much
I
about
wasn't
it.
playing Pokemon,
Yeah.
or what was the other one? Magic the Gathering.
We fall into the generation that barely missed both ends of that.
Yes.
Because it got popular earlier, and then after we were just right in the middle.
Yeah.
The Charizard, by the way, Trisha, go home tonight and look through all those cards. You don't have to find the really expensive one, but any Charizard, apparently, I know this because I have 7-year-olds now. Any Charizard is worth a lot of money now.
Oh,
And I don't know why. And they're probably not worth $420,000.
be nice.
But if you
That
find
would be awesome.
a Charizard, you'll make some money.
Nice. Okay. Thanks for the info.
I would have Eddie look through those.
Yep.
Like, Eddie, make some money.
Texting him now. Leave work immediately.
Go check these out. All right. So you guys know how China has been doing more lockdowns because of COVID.
Mhm.
This headline says a woman was forced to have her eyelid stitches removed at the gate of her residential complex after the building was put into COVID-19 lockdown.
That story does not do the picture justice.
No, I'm looking at the picture right now.
Because
Oh.
it is grotesque.
I wonder.
No, I don't want to.
I
Oh,
don't
were
wanna
you
see-
about to share it?
I was
on
going to
the
share
you-
it, but it's not on that computer. It's on this computer,
We
and
might
these
get
are
kicked
two
off of
separate
Facebook
machines.
for sure.
No, it's not. It's not graphic, but it's like she's
So why
like
was
barely
she was
sticking her head
forced-
through the grate.
to have her eye. What?
Okay, so she was at the grate of her facility, but apparently what had happened was there was a COVID-19 positive case in their apartment building, and they just locked the whole thing down because that's how they do it in China, right? Remember at the very beginning when they were welding people in apartments?
Mm-hmm.
So they just locked the whole building down, and she still had to have the stitches removed. So they brought the doctor to the gate, and she stuck her face through the gate because, there's no way she's giving COVID to the doctor face to face through the gate.
Right.
But,
the gate blocks COVID.
So
isn't it not surprising that people are still doing lockdowns anywhere?
It blows my mind.
It obviously didn't stop it.
China doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have ulterior motives to literally everything they're doing too, which is probably aiming at companies that they don't like to shut them down, like Disney and like Apple. This is the Annie Frey Show. I am getting the wrap-up signal because we are about to close out. Thank you guys so much for being here this afternoon. Thank you, Brad, for hosting.
No
Thank
problem.
you, Hannah. Thank you, Trisha. And thank you, Annie. And good luck with your speech. That's where she had to go. She's speaking at a university this afternoon. So we'll hear all about that tomorrow on the Annie Frey Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought